If we had, yes, donate to the school, $ FDMG school on your Cash App. 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 If you need to mail in your donation, make it payable to the FDMG Academy, P.O. Box 9634. P.O. Box 9634. P.O. Box 9634, Wilmington, Delaware. That is Wilmington, Delaware, 19809. We appreciate $1, but we would rather have 10. We appreciate $20, but we would rather have 50. We appreciate $50, but we would rather have 100. We appreciate $100, but we would rather have 200. We're trying to renovate a school, brothers and sisters. We're trying to renovate a school. We're not fixing a flat tire. We're not fixing a flat tire. We're not opening up a penny candy shop. We're not selling water ices, okay? We're not selling hot dogs. We're renovating a school. Do you understand? Do you understand? So please, brothers and sisters, give what you can. We're building an institution, okay? Trying to give our children a chance that we didn't have. That's what we're doing. I don't have to pin it because I done already told you what it is. Don't be lazy. $ FDMG school. Don't be lazy. $ FDMG school. Before I continue with my message, thank you, Sister Avanti, $10 coming on the Cash App. Thank you, sister. Next time, make it 20, but thank you for that 10. I know you barely had that. Thank you, sister.
All right. Thank y'all so much for tuning on in. Cookie Crush Chat's undefeated as always. We got quite a bit to get into here during this live stream. Buckle in. All right. It's time to go. Let's go.
FDMG is coming. FDMG is coming. FDMG is coming. It's coming.
Hold on. Yeah. Nah, I got this. I got this.
FDMG is coming. FDMG is coming. FDMG is coming. It's 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 coming. Oh, it's coming. FDMG is coming. FDMG is coming. Thought his personality be twerking. It's twerking.
Yeah, thank you guys again for tuning on in. Umar, he's quite the character. It's always about him. He has to have all the attention, histrionics. I found a video. It's an older video of Umar, and he's talking about these different types of men. He talks about men who have histrionics, and he's talking about himself. He does it a lot. It's projecting. Interesting enough, a lot of what Umar talks about in older videos, he's actually talking about himself. During this live stream, the question that I want to raise, and this is leading up to this Friday, we are going to try to do, and I'm saying we're going to try because I still have to get all the receipts in order by Friday. We're going to try to do a mini marathon. Last week we had a guest come on, and she sent me all types of receipts, and I'm going to show just a couple of them. I have 4 different folders of receipts. She's going through the process of organizing all of those receipts by date and then putting them into a Microsoft PowerPoint presentation, or I told her what she can do is send it all to me after she's archived them by date, and I can put it into a PowerPoint presentation. And then this Friday, the 4th of July, we're planning on having a live stream where we have our interview guests come back. And the idea is that we'll be going over all those receipts. She'll be sharing even more information. And if you guys have any follow-up questions, you'll be able to ask those follow-up questions. I have quite a few based upon listening to the live stream from last week. I actually watched it quite a few times. I don't even know how many times. Some of you guys may have watched it. It's gotten like the last week's live stream, I think it was Thursday, maybe Wednesday. It's close to 25,000 views already. So hopefully more and more people will pick that up. More and more people will see it, and they'll be able to realize what I've been talking about for a very long time about Umar, and that is that Umar, he's predatory towards Black women. All this talk about snow bunnies and we shouldn't date outside the race and all this stuff. What what Umar, he's trying to placate to Black women as if he cares about you. But the other idea is that people have to understand, that people really need to understand about Umar, is that in his own mind, it's okay for him to sexually exploit Black women, but somehow it's taboo to date outside of the race. Okay, which one does more damage? And he's out here sexually exploiting Black women. And so for Umar, it's like, okay, I can sexually exploit Black women, but I'm not going to be dealing with these snow bunnies, and you shouldn't be dealing with these snow bunnies either. See what I'm saying? That's Umar. So what we're going to do today, and again, we're planning on this Friday doing a mini marathon, and Lene will come back, and we'll have more receipts. I'm going to show you guys, share some of the receipts with you guys today. I actually showed one inside the thumbnail for this video, and what we'll be doing is we'll be setting the tone for Friday. All right, we'll go step by step. There's other women who have come out. Now I've pulled up, and shout out to brother James. I have set up already. I have it queued up a couple of videos from the past that I want to play. One where I kind of talk about Umar like long time, years ago, and I break. It's like what's coming to pass now. It's exactly what I was talking about then. There's also another video where there's a woman that called in. And she was Umar. She was talking with Umar. She was married. She had a man, but Umar was trying to push up on her. She had called into the show, and back then, from what I remember, Umar had asked her to make meals for his mother, something to that effect. So there's a history of this. I'm sure that there's other women out there who've dealt with. I already know this. Hundreds who've dealt with Umar in a hotel, motel type of situation. Hundreds of them over the last couple of decades. That's all sexual exploitation, but I'm sure that there are women that Umar has asked them to do certain things for him, including some of them to take care of his mother. I'm sure of that. I'm sure of that. So that's going to be the agenda for this week. And what I'd like to do, if everything works out well, we'll get together today, tomorrow, Wednesday. Today's Monday, Tuesday. Today's Tuesday, right? We'll get together today, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Shorter shows, but then Thursday we'll do a mini marathon. That'll be the plan. Okay, so I'm not going to hold you on too long today. I want to thank everyone for tuning on in. Shout out to everyone inside the Cookie Crush chat. Hope you guys been doing all right. What's up, Vince, brother Vince? Thank you for tuning on in. And Black Wolf is here as well. I feel for those who still believe in his agenda. Yeah. His agenda is really what his rhetoric, and that's just to get people riled up and get people to believe that he really cares about Black people. But ultimately, it's about money. It's about sexual exploiting Black women. That's all it comes down to at the end of the day. He hasn't produced anything. I'm talking about Umar. He hasn't produced anything of consequence. You, Umar Johnson, followers, I challenge you to give me 10 things that Umar Johnson has done over the last 2 decades that are tangible and real that have benefited Black people outside of running his mouth. This is a guy who he doesn't even have his own residence. He lives inside of his mama's closet when he can, and he can't even keep that straight. I showed it that last week. He flipped the phone on accident, and it showed the filth that he was living in there. I showed the filth that he was living in 2019, and he gets evicted from there. He's been homeless since 2019. This guy can't even keep a area that's about this wide, going all the way back to that wall. He can't even keep that clean. And people believe that somehow he's some sort of a great Black leader. No, he can't even organize his own belongings. That's why in that gym, when he showed all of the damage that was done in there, that's old. That's years old. That's where he stored all of his belongings. He's a hoarder. I dropped the video too, by the way, for members today dealing with the hoarder situation. And I give examples of it with different videos of Umar and his hoarding behavior. I'm going to release that for everyone probably next week. But I want to allow members to get to view it in advance. So that's up for you members. I want to thank all of our members too as well. But Umar, his agenda really, what it comes down to is getting money out of Black people. He hasn't worked since 2010, 2011 consistently. He's homeless. He's unemployed. So ultimately, it's survival. So it's all about money. It's all about sex. And then all the other rhetoric that he uses, that's just a way to hook people, get people to think that somehow he's some great black leader. And some of the stuff he says, people like that stuff. But if you really listen, he's totally contradictory to that. He's a total hypocrite. Right? All right. Shout out to Miss Brown. Thank you for being here. Let me give a few more shout outs and then we get into the show for today. Thanks, Blackpool, for gifting a membership. I appreciate that. And again, I did drop a video for members today. For those of y'all who have already seen it, thank you guys so much. And there's some comments there too I've responded to. How's it going, Andy? Thank you for being here. Yeah, it's been crazy, Andy. It's been crazy. The amount of money. What's his name? SGA. It averages out to like $71 million a year. I did the math too. It's like $850,000, something like that. $860 something thousand per game. I said, damn, but let him get that money. Let him get that money. They got the money there. Go ahead and let the young brothers get that money. Okay. Blinding Lights, thank you for being here. Deron, thank you for being here as well. No, we're gonna do this. We only gonna be here for just because we're just gonna set the stage for Friday. Okay. That's the plan for today. How's it going? Smitty boys in the building too. Thank you for being here. Yeah. It's probably like 5 or something like that. Yeah, he's in a bad space. How's it going, lady? Thanks for tuning on in. I appreciate it. Yeah. That's part of it. Okay. Ad Avis is here as well. Thank you so much. Yeah, he hasn't really produced anything. Podcast, gossip about black celebrities, sexual proclivities, travel, eating, lectures. Exactly. Nothing that's tangible or real that someone can say, I'm going to go and go do this. And with Umar, I'm going to go do it and see this that Umar has built. None of that stuff. Okay. yeah. Umar, he always talking about the back rub. That's Umar. He love the back rubs. That's his code for sex. He'll say, if I have a queen, if they can come give me a back rub, that's code for sex. I remember this woman that contacted me and she said that, and this is one that actually went to his residence. He was a hoarder situation there though too, where he flipped the phone, like my thing is that video. And she was talking about how she went there. She was talking about how he's very much like a child, it kind of awkward too, but there was trash and filth and dirty dishes in the sink and molded food all in the sink and that kind of stuff. But she said when she was sitting on the couch, Umar didn't sit next to her. Instead, he sat down in front of her and then took her hands and then put it on his back to try to get her to massage him. He's something else. And she was like, he was just like a little child that just, needed attention and affection, that kind of thing. Thanks, Courtney, for the super chat. Your last video was very informative. Yeah, I have to say the last video is probably the best live stream I've done. We've had a lot of classics, but the last live stream, you guys haven't checked it out, make sure you take the time to check it out. There's timestamps too. I appreciate the person. I can't remember, it was Chef something. I can't remember his whole YouTube page name, but the brother that put tags or timestamps, and that way it's easier for people to find it. But that's in that particular video from last week, the last video that we did. I don't want to live stream yesterday because I want to give it another day for more people can view that video before I actually upload anything else. So I want to encourage everyone, if you haven't seen that video, please take some time to check it out. Okay, this week too, we'll take some time. I want to take some time to actually rewatch that segment. And then what we'll do is we'll compile a list of questions, follow-up questions, so that on Friday, if we do in fact have it on Friday, we can ask those questions to our guest. All right. By the way, if there's any other women who would like to come out and speak, whether you want to do it publicly or if you want to do it privately, my email is LenonHonor@yahoo.com. There's another option too. If let's say if you wanted to do it in video format, but to keep your anonymity, you don't have. It'd be more like a podcast where you won't be seen. But they'll see me and they'll hear the conversation. And I can also put on a voice modulator on your voice. Okay, that's possible too. So if there's any other women, and there's plenty of them out there, literally hundreds, it could be thousands by now, because he's been at this for such a very long time. If you had experience with Umar, whether it's him manipulating you into doing things for him or doing things for his mother, or sending him money or having sex with him or whatever, inside hotel or motel rooms, you can reach out to me. I'm a fair and honest person, and I will maintain your anonymity if that's what you want. Okay. And my email is LenonHonor@yahoo.com. All right. Thank you. again, everyone for tuning on in. Michael says that will the law or personal scandals bring Umar down? I believe his past transgressions with women will ultimately be his undoing. There's quite a few people who have mentioned that, Michael, and I tend to agree. I think that that's his biggest fear, is that these women will come out and expose him as a manipulator, as someone who is sexually exploiting these black women. He's been doing this for decades now. That's his greatest fear. I don't think Umar, he's paranoid anyway. So I think that he's stuck in a state of fear most of the time anyway. But his greatest fear is that women will come out in multiple, where it becomes undeniable. And then they expose him for who he truly is. If you guys notice, he always defends abusers. Have you guys noticed that? See, he'll defend black men who are brought up on these charges before knowing any information. He defends them right away. And then if you go back in time, prior to them getting these allegations or even charges brought up against them, he was going in on them. Bill Cosby, P. Diddy, Shannon Sharp, the list goes on and on and on. So in the past, he would criticize him all over again, because that's what he does. He's basically a celebrity gossip, social media influencer. He would go in on all the time. But as soon as they get charges, now he wants to defend them. Well, the reason why is because offenders defend offenders. That's what it is. You know, so yeah, that's Umar's greatest fear, is that more and more women will come out and speak out about Umar and tell the truth that he's a predator out there. He is. He just uses, black consciousness and Pan Africanism, or I'm going to save the school to prison pipeline, I'm going to save your black boys, so forth and so on. Y'all remember the conscious stripper? Right? There's so many other examples of this. Yeah, I think that would be his undoing, ultimately. I think that's his greatest fear. It's not the FBI or the CIA. He brings that up sometimes. No, it's about black women coming out, and many of them coming out and exposing him for who he truly is. There is a poll question. Thanks so much, Michael, for the super chat as well. There is a poll question, and that's really what we're going to be getting into during this live stream. Is Umar Johnson exploiting black women? We have about 500 votes so far. 93% said yes, and 7% said no. Okay, so make sure you get your vote in during this live stream. And if at any point you're enjoying this live stream, even if you're enjoying it already, go on and hit that like button as well. Our goal is always 100. Our goal is always 500 likes. All right. Thanks, Michael, for the super chat. Let me get these other super chats real quick, and then we're going to get going here because I'm going to run through this quickly. Lori says, these recent shows have been quite epic. Stay the course. Lene's info has to feel quite validating to you, Len. Yeah, it does. It does. There's a lot that I've said about Umar that people did not believe. And see, the thing is, Lene sent me receipts upon receipts. I mean, I can't even say that I've looked and read through all of them. I looked at all of them in terms of pulling them up. I'm gonna share a couple of them with y'all today. But in terms of reading through everything, where there's these text exchange where Umar's talking back and forth with her, it's incredible. And this is just one person during a certain period of time. Umar, he's out there and he's been at this for decades now, literally. Matter of fact, today we're also going to watch a video. So maybe we will be here a little bit longer than I thought. Because I just remembered. We're going to watch a video from back in the day. Umar used to do these for sisters only. He said he was going to write a book too for you black men. That's another way to exploit you all. He's going to write a book for you all called For Sisters Only. And that ultimately turned into this idea or notion of another book called The Rules of Romance. See, it's all about trying to manipulate you all to get y'all to want to get down with him. Ultimately, you want to get them draws. That's why he's always talking about cookies. Cookies is a euphemism for vagina. So that's the thing. Whenever Umar's talking about cookies, you guys have to really just translate that. He's talking about the vajayjay, and he does it all the time. Y'all don't think that that's strange? If his mission is to save black people, if his mission is to help and uplift black people, if his mission is to save black boys, if his mission is to help black men to be better men, why is he always talking about the vajayjay? So we're going to go back in time. We're going to watch that. But there's another video too. That's a shorter video, just to provide examples. All this stuff is so interesting. So much that I've said in the past, it's validated. But furthermore, the fact that Umar has a long history of this type of predatory behavior. Listen, if one person comes out, or two or three, I think I've probably spoken over the years. I've probably spoken to maybe 10 10. I've had maybe 3 people come on, maybe 4 people come on live, but maybe 6 others offline that have sent me emails, or I've met with a couple on Skype where we just talked. They didn't tell me, they didn't want to provide their or have anything go public or anything like that in terms of video format or even audio format for just us talking. But see, so much of what I said in the past, it was validated, and not just with Lene, but with these other people. Again, I have it queued up. I'm gonna play where the sister that Umar, she was gonna help Umar with the menu for FDMG, but she explains how Umar tried to turn this into an opportunity to try to get at her. See, Umar has a history of that, right? Thanks, Lori, for being a member. I appreciate it. Hope you checked out the video for today, the members only video. Black Wolf says, have you received more receipts from the woman from last interview? Has Umar said anything about the interview you had with her? Okay, second question, Umar hasn't said anything. And I don't think he will, because he's a coward. See, Umar was, and someone emailed me today, said, listen, just let him be because he's really struggling. I want to hear that. He's 50 years old. When Umar was threatening me with physical violence and doxing my personal information, my home address and all this other stuff, talking about pull-up team and all this type of stuff, wasn't nobody trying to talk about, oh, well, you know what? Maybe Umar, maybe you shouldn't be doing that. I don't want to hear that. See, you play the game. Okay, you either going to win or you're going to lose, and there's going to be consequences, good or bad, one way or the other. And I'm of the opinion that it doesn't matter to me at this point. What Umar is doing is wrong. It's not like he's only been doing this. He did this in the past. That's someone else said, well, that's something he did that in the past. No, he's doing it right now. Okay, and I'm not going to play. You guys know I have compassion for Umar, but I'm not going to play the violin for someone who was all big and bad and all thuggish back in the day, but now he's a punk. Because I done gone on in on him. See, and I have all the receipts. And now you got women providing receipts. Now all of a sudden we need to hold his hand. I don't think so. That's not how life works. Y'all better stop coddling these men, in particular these black men. That's part of the problem. I don't want to hear that. Consequences at the end of the day. I've had my own fair share of consequences dealing with Umar. But I'm not going to get up here and cry about it. And you best believe I'm not the one trying to act all street, yeah, pull up team and all this stuff. Umar, you a marshmallow. And see, that's why right now, Black Wolf, Umar's not going to come out and address this. And he damn sure ain't going to say my name. He ain't said my name in a long time. Okay. Back in the day, my name was all in his mouth when he was big and bad, wasn't it? See? But these days, no. Because he's marshmallow. And he's scared. He's what we used to call, he's a straight punk. Okay, so what I'm getting at, Black Wolf, if now not only do you have a woman coming out to speak about Umar doesn't want people to hear that. Because then other women that he done messed with and done dealt with and done exploited, they might start to come out. Email is LenonHonor@yahoo.com. Come on, safe place. We can do this many different ways. You can come on live. What you want to come on and show your face, you can do that. You can come on just with no face, but just your voice. If you want to, we can do it offline. And I'll put a voice modulator on your voice, and I will vet you. I want to see the receipts because that's how I roll. See, but Umar don't want to do that. He don't want to go there. He don't want to speak about this because he knows that 2 things are going to happen. That more people are going to realize that he's out here sexually exploiting these women like a predator that he is. And number 2, they're going to come over here to LenonHonor in the Cookie Crush chat, and he don't want that either. Sorry, that last video, almost 25,000 views. He don't want that. And this is just the beginning, because see, I was thinking about turning this into a series. We would call it, I don't want to do this to the guy. Again, this is me trying to be compassionate to this clown. And call it Surviving Umar Johnson. Umar, see, he don't want to talk about this. He don't want to say my name. He don't want to mention none of this stuff. Because more of his files going to come up over here like they have been doing anyway because of the title. I know what I'm doing. See? And some of them defend him. That's fine. Y'all can defend him. It don't make me no difference. That's fine. But there's always a conversion rate. Some of y'all up in here used to believe in Umar. Hit the 1. Not anymore. So Umar, if you about that life, see, back in the day when you was all big and bad, now look at you. And I knew you was a punk then, and you definitely a punk now. See, Umar thought he could punk me. See, that's what people get it twisted. I know. I dressed the part. I got a new shirt on today. I got the glasses on today. I'm nice and shape, but I'm not the one. I'm just not. I'm just not. There's no other way that I can say this. See, I have this sense it's been to my detriment of right and wrong. That if you're doing right, we good. We good. Come on. But if you're doing wrong, I'm not the one. And I've always been like that. Anybody who's ever known me, I've always been like that to my detriment. You know, because you got to give people an opportunity to make mistakes. But Umar, he's 50. There's no excuses at this point. He's been at this school scam since to St. Paul 2014. He conceptualized this in 2004. Said he started working on this in 2005. 20 years? No. But Umar thought he could punk me. That was one of his biggest mistakes that you probably in your life, Umar. I'm not saying it's the biggest one, but it's one of the biggest ones that you've ever had, that you've ever done in your life. And you a punk. You was a punk then, and you a punk now. That's what he ain't gonna speak on it. And if he do, okay, fine. They give us more content. That's fine. Got him. All right. I don't mean to be like that, but see, people be getting it twisted, you know, because I tend to come. I'm real quiet, and people, yeah, he seems, yeah, but don't. Yeah, but if you're wrong, don't do me wrong now. Don't do that. See, do right by me. We good. I'm gonna do right by you, no matter what. But if you do wrong, I ain't gonna let it slide. I don't play that. See. Anyway, no. So to answer your second question, that's why Umar, he ain't spoke on this. He probably will not. Now, if it was a woman that came out, like when the conscious stripper first came out, he probably would have gone in on her. But because not only does she have all these receipts that she sent me, but then also she's backed by me now in the Cookie Crush chat, and we've already talked just a little bit about some of her experiences, because she emailed and said there's so much more. So we're gonna try to work this out on Friday to do a mini marathon, and we'll get into all the other stuff. All right, and then have I received receipts from the? Yeah, I did. I have 4 folders of receipts, and it's all kinds of stuff. In fact, here, let me just pull one up real quick. This right here is, let me do a screen share, and let me make sure I'm doing this right. Yeah, here we go. This is to prove that she was out there in Philadelphia, and that she was inside of a hotel. And she actually has a couple of these. This is just one of them. See this? Check in Sunday, February 9th. Check out Monday, February 10th. See this? The Hampton Inn Philadelphia Center. Okay, so that's just one. And she actually sent me quite a few of these, because she didn't go out there just one time. She even sent me meals that she made for Umar's mother. Look. And if you look over there to the side, this is a whole bunch of stuff up over there. Okay, and let me make sure I didn't put this other one, because there's a picture and someone's in it. I ain't gonna say their name. They're in the actual picture. So Umar cannot deny, and it's not Umar. But I'm not gonna show that. Here's another one where she made, looks like she made some cantaloupe and put it in a container. Yeah, if you look down, the floor does look dirty. Here are some payments that she received. Because remember, she was talking about Umar did send her some payments. Going all the way back to, well, no, let's see, it starts in January. I wonder if she has more, but this is January 27th of 2025. Not too long ago, $200, $100, $1,200, $103, $103, $600, $200, and $100. And then March 12th, this is probably the last one, 1,200 again. I just want to be careful here. Okay, and then we'll come back to this one right here. This is part of the thumbnail for today. I don't even know if it's necessary for us to get into this, but I just put that inside the thumbnail just because it grabs people's attention. I also have another one that I ain't going to play for you, or I'm not going to show for y'all today. We're going to wait on that one. You know, Umar, he be living in these motel rooms when he's not inside the mama closet. What if I told y'all I have a picture? Let me stop. Let me stop. We're going to leave it right there. We're gonna leave that right there. Okay, yeah. So yeah, and that there's plenty. There's so much more. And then the idea from now until Friday is that Lene's going to be compiling the receipts that she wants to share, and then put them, and then archive them based on date, and then we'll go step by step, like as a time, like I'm real big into timelines, and then we'll ask follow-up questions. Okay, I'm sure that you guys probably have a whole bunch. I have a whole bunch myself. Okay, all right. Thanks, Black Wolf, for the super chat. Sal says you're doing a good job. It's just a matter of time before your show and info on Umar gets picked up by other content creators. Yeah, I think so. You know, I think that's one of the reasons why and I do have a lot of stuff archived for members only, hundreds of videos, but just having what I do have available for everyone, more and more people are waking up, you know. And I think over time, because it's only going to take Umar getting exposed on, let's say if it was the IRS, or if more Black women came out to speak out against Umar and what they've gone through dealing with Umar. If enough of that happens, then you hit critical mass, and once that happens, then everything blows up, and then that's when you'll see an influx of people coming to watch my videos. And they'll go back in time, and maybe by then I may even just release the older stuff, you know, just to show that, you know, it's not an arrogance thing. It's more like to show that we have archived, historically speaking, step by step, year by year, starting in around 2019, what Umar has been doing, and then by then the documentary would be done too, so forth and so on. That explores his whole life. So yeah, I think it's only a matter of time. I just think something needs to take place that hits the critical mass, and then when the critical mass is hit, then that's when you'll see an influx of people picking up what I've been talking about here. And there's other people who report on Umar. I think I've been the one who's been the most consistent. Okay. Thanks, Sal, for the kind words, and thanks for the super chat as well. Thanks, Blackpool, for the super chat as well. Let me do this real quick because I wasn't planning on being here that long. Okay. We already have 1,000 people in the building. Wow. Yeah, if y'all can hit the like button, okay. And again, I want to encourage people. The plan is to do a July 4th marathon. I want to encourage people that if you do have time on Friday to join us, and hopefully I'll have enough information where I can set up the show over the tomorrow, or maybe even, I hope to set up the show tomorrow. But we'll be back tomorrow, just leading up tomorrow and Thursday, leading up to the big show. He should never be allowed around children. Yeah, Duran, you're absolutely right about that. Umar, that's the irony of the idea. And there's different ironies too, because Umar's never been a teacher. He's never taught in the classroom, never been certified to teach as a teacher, none of that. Umar claims to have been a school principal and a school vice principal. Do I think that he was a principal vice principal? I think he was. I think it was for a very short period of time. That's why I'm thinking about this today, you Umar Johnson followers, I want you to go online and I want you to find me receipts that show Umar being a school psychologist, and he was a school psychologist. I do know that for a fact. But I have been able to find some online residue, as it were, of Umar being, in particular with a compared charter school. But to show me a receipt that proves conclusively that Umar was a principal or a vice principal, and I've yet to be able to find it. I have research skills too. I do. I had it even when I was in college the first time. Definitely have it after the second time I was in college. Okay, I have a degree in cybersecurity and computer technology. Part of what we were taught was how to do online research. And I'm not just talking about for papers and stuff like that, but I'm talking about online research where you can get information on people, information that's in the public domain, as it were. There's other ways of getting other information too, but I'll leave it right there. The point is that I have yet to find any receipts that would prove conclusively that Umar was a vice principal or a principal. If anyone has that, please send it to me, LenonHonor@yahoo.com. Do I think that he was? I think he was. I think it was for a very short period of time. I also think that he was maybe he was a vice principal, because I don't know. I haven't seen any receipts, but then he wants to say that he was a principal, or that he was a principal, but he's never a vice principal. The thing is that he was never a teacher in the first place, which is really weird. So the point, Duran, that I'm getting to in like a roundabout way is that Umar doesn't even have experience with dealing with children on that level in terms of a school setting as a teacher. And yet he's talked about how he wants to be teaching these children, blah, blah, blah. Now, the thing that if people do enough research on Umar, you realize not only does he makes very disparaging comments about Black children, he also makes sexualized comments about Black children. That's a problem. Furthermore, I have Umar when he was doing the college tours for these young people, where he's targeting these 3 little girls. It was really 2, but one he really focused on a lot. And what he would do is he would follow them around, and he would have a cell phone, and instead of following, you know, the guide or whatever, and have the phone, he would have on their body parts, following their backside and so forth and so on, this type of thing. Very concerning, extremely concerning. There's one video where he's standing back behind some bushes, and he got his camera up like this, and there's a roll of these children, but he has it on that same little girl, main one that he targets, has it on her, and she just kind of, because sometimes people can tell someone's looking at you, even though you don't see them, and she turns around like this, he moves the camera over, and then when she turns back over, he puts it back on her. There's one video where he's sitting at a table, and there's a little boy sitting next to him right here, and he takes he's filming, he's doing like this for a while, then he takes the camera and puts it under the table into the little boy's crotch. I go on and on and on. Very disturbing. Very disturbing. The same little girl that he was targeting, they were having like, they were sitting at this table. It was outside, and they're having like dessert, you know, ice cream with something. I don't know what it was, some type of dessert. And there's the children sitting around the table. Umar sitting there with his camera. And she gets up and starts to dance, and then he puts the camera on her. He's watching her dance, blah, blah, blah. And then he says something to the effect of, and I'm paraphrasing, I'm just going to use the name Jonathan, as if that was a little boy, one of the little boys sitting next to him. Jonathan said that the police going to come and arrest you for having those shorts on, something like that. And I said, what? And I said to myself, no one said that. There was no boy who said that. There was no boy named Jonathan that said that. No one said that. You know who said that? Umar said that. But that goes to show you that not only was he recording, but he was looking at her that way. I go on and on and on. He has no business being around children. None. He's called little girls' body parts rotten cookies. That's what he called it. Okay? And that's what I mean, Duran, the irony that he wants to open up, allegedly, he wants to open up a school, but he has no business being around children in the first place. He didn't even take care of his own kids. Okay? Thanks, Duran, for the super chat. Okay, let me get these on real quick. Umar was punching air when he saw your your last stream. He probably still is. But see, he shook though. He ain't gonna say nothing. And see, and if he does, Umar, if you decide to do so, I'm gonna go on your Instagram right now. If you decide to do so, fine. Go on and run your mouth, because that's more content. And then it'll bring more people over here and there'll be a conversion rate. There's always a conversion rate. You ain't got no sense anyway. You don't have no, you're not a strategist, man. You're goofy. Everything is just emotion driven. Your whole life is just emotion driven. You're not a thinker. That's even when you come up with these ideas, these fanciful ideas, it's all emotion driven, because it's about ego and fulfilling your ego and trying to be Big Papa and the Prince of Pan Africanism. That's all emotion. That's not intellectualism. See, intellectualism asks critical questions, and you realize very quickly that, Umar, you ain't nothing that you say that you are. You're not. You don't get nothing done that you say you're gonna do. You never do. But if you want to run your mouth, go on and run your mouth. I encourage you, because that gives us more content, and you'll get more and more exposed at the end of the day. See, that's on you. See, it's funny to me, boy, back in the day, he was so big and bad running his mouth. Some of y'all was around back then. He was so big and bad. Not these days. Thanks, Smitty boy, for the super chat. Ox the Rhino says, how does a man spend $1.6 million from Black America and his mama living in Section 8? That shows what he thinks about Black women. Absolutely. I've thought about that. And that's at a bare minimum $1.6 million. I'll put it close to $2.6, $2.7 million by now. Umar's and see, I was thinking about this too. Umar, not only does he live with his mama when he can inside her closet, but he's taken over the whole second story. And his mama don't even go upstairs. Isn't that what the interview guest was saying? And I figured that, because she's wheelchair bound. She can't go up no stairs. You know what else she told me too? She said that because at the residence, there's no wheelchair access directly going up the steps, because there's just steps. There's like 3 steps going on, because it's like row houses. So what's been done in that Section 8 housing right there is that they've built this structure, and it's like a lift for wheelchairs, and you're supposed to get into it and then, you know, close it, and then it lifts you up, and they got this, it's carved into the side of the building, literally, like this wheelchair entrance, and you have to open that door, and it raises you up, and this is separate from the main door, It's like carved into the side of the wall, and then you can go on. But the lady told me that area on the inside of the house, there's stuff stacked in front of that door from the interior. So if it's stacked like that, then how does the mama get out and how does the mama get in this hoarder situation? How does a man collect bare minimum $1.6 million? It's close to $2.7 million on a fake school and still collecting money for this fake school. And got his mama living in Section 8 housing. And then not only does he live with his mama when he can, but he's taken off the whole upstairs to himself. And he live streams from his mama closet. And according to the lady, Umar got inside his room, he got a gorilla plush toy or something like that. I said, oh my God. What kind of man? All right. But it goes to show you not only where Umar's priorities are, he's traveling all over the place. Who's watching the mama when he's gone? Not only is he traveling all over the place, and I thought about this too, Ox the Rhino. Umar, you see him in hotels and motels, and he's living his best life. He's laying up in there, eating sometimes, laying in the bed. And then he got his mama living in Section 8 housing, living in squalor and filth. What kind of man? And yeah, it shows you what he thinks about black women. I don't think he cares for his mama, to be honest with you. How can you? Umar, he'll buy himself dashikis and brand new shoes and all this other stuff, but he can't take care of his mama. She's got to live in Section 8 housing. And he done taken the whole second floor to himself. What kind of man? That's sickening. Got her living in filth. And y'all, some of y'all Umar followers, yeah, he love black women. No, he don't. He don't love his own mama. Because what kind of man would have their mama living in that filth? His hood too. See, if he had some sense, what he would have done is after collecting 2.7 million over the last 11 years, get himself his own residence. He's been homeless since 2019, and then have it in a nice area, three bedrooms, and then have his mama move in with him, and you know, just take care of her. But not Umar. It's the opposite. He goes to his mama when he can't afford a hotel or motel room. He live off his mama. And if you black women think that he cares about you, he don't even care about his own mama. He don't even care about his own daughters. What you talking about? Thanks, Ox the Rhino. Good point. Malik sent a super sticker. Thank you so much. Let me do these real quick. I'm going off. Vince says the living conditions he has his mom in speak volumes about him as a man. Yeah, but see, he's used to that though. Okay, and Vince, I don't know if you saw the video that I did for members only today. I showed examples of Umar, you know, back to back, and him flipping the phone, or you know, the filth and the accumulate. He's used to that. It doesn't even register inside his. Vince, you remember in 2019 when Umar started showing the inside of the abandoned buildings in Wilmington, Delaware? I kept asking. I said, why would he do this? Shouldn't he clean this up first? Y'all remember that? Anyone was around back then hit the one, because it was perplexing to me. Why would he show this? Do I need to pull up an example? Because it makes no sense. We would think as a man, you would clean it up first, right? And to make it look presentable, because you done taken people's money. At that point, he should have had $850,000 left over. He spends $400,000 because by that time he was at he should have been about $1.5 million at that time. But he had ran through so much of that money. In February of 2019, I have all this to archive. At a certain point, I'll do a video for the timeline just dealing with the money and what Umar says, how much he raised in this year, and you guys are gonna trip because you're gonna see at some point the money don't add up, because he'll say I collected $500,000. He'll say I collected $250,000 in a year, or he'll say I collected $500,000 in a year and a half. Did y'all know he said that? In a year and a half, it's actually a year and 8 months. I did the calculations. He said he had raised $500,000. He's been at this for 11 years. I want y'all to think about this. So all this money raised, he takes $400,000 and purchases abandoned buildings in Wilmington, Delaware, and he don't even bother to clean up anything before he starts showing these traps. Then he was on Lord Jamar, said they're in excellent condition, so forth and so on. See, the thing is, Vince, it didn't register in his mind that it was filthy because Umar lives filthy. Do I need to give an example? Let's go to 2019 real quick. I don't mean to go off. Let's go to 2019. I got time too. Listen, I got time. I ain't tripping. Okay, we're gonna be back tomorrow. I'll tell you, we're gonna be back on Wednesday. We're gonna be back on Thursday. We're gonna be back on Friday. We might be back on Saturday. All right, 4th of July holiday, all of that. Let's go to 2019 real quick because you guys remember I was so perplexed because I'm the type of person, you know, when I do my shows, I take a shower before and I take one after too, and I try to get halfway presentable. I got some new shirts. My wife, she said for 4th of July, you probably won't have another sale, so you need to get some more. I said, okay. Umar, he's not like that. I like to be clean. You know, I take at least 2 showers a day, at least. All right. Today it ended up being 3 showers because I do one before live stream and after. So it's going to end up being 3. That's just how I am. Stuff has to be where it needs to be set right there. And I'm a minimalist. I don't have a lot of stuff. In fact, too much stuff. My wife, she got so many clothes. I don't even understand it. I just can't. It's like, how do you know what to get? Well, I know what I'm going to wear tomorrow. Like, there's no way. I don't know. There's no way because I can't keep track of all this. So I have just a few things. My wife, she got winter clothes. She got fall clothes. She got spring. She got summer clothes. She even got bins in the garage that have little names on it that said, this is spring, you know, blah, blah, blah. And then she got a whole thing up here full of clothes, drawers up, all kinds. There's no way I can't keep track of that. My mind doesn't work like that. So I have very few things. See, the difference is Umar has a lot of stuff because he's a hoarder, but he doesn't organize things either. And then stuff just piles on top of each other over and over again. We covered this during the last live stream. Let's go to let's go to February of 2019. Wait a minute. No, he didn't show it February 2019. Let's go to because he started doing tours, I think it was in April. January, February, March, April, May, June. No, it was in June. So let's do here's a video. Umar picking up trash. He's been at this for such a long time. He was picking up trash in June of 2019. He's still picking up trash outside. And I gotta pull this one up too for you all. I have to pull this one up. Man, there's so much to get into because you remember when the interview guest last week was saying how Umar doesn't know how to shop and he doesn't know what to get. I have a video. I'm gonna pull that up too, but hold on. Let me stay focused here because I see it right here. It's crazy. Let's go to. Is this it? No, this isn't it either. Oh, here it is right here. So there's 3 different videos. I'm gonna have to figure out which one it is. But let me try this one first because I was always wondering why would he show this in this condition? But he's a hoarder, so it doesn't register in his mind, and it's just like normal to him.
I feel you on that.
Yeah, here we go right here. Why I was like, why is he even showing this? He didn't even bother to clean up.
Oops.
No electricity.
Come on in. This one here. Now this school is a
Yeah, you guys remember this? I was so perplexed by this. Like, why would he even show this? It doesn't make any sense.
little smaller. Who got their light on? Somebody who got a light?
Shine a light,
Shine a light on
Who
him.
got a nice light?
Shine a light.
Shine a light on him. I can't remember her name. She's a
Let
doctor.
me use your phone. You ain't got it on, right? Just the light?
Just the light.
Okay. So here y'all see, we start with a classroom.
What's up, Barry?
Right here. Let's see how I can do that. Got a classroom right here. A lot of the books are still here.
Yeah. You right about that, Fairchild. People be getting it twisted too. I'm just not the one. You do right by me, we good. We so good. But you doing wrong. Look at this. What I need to do is put this in Premiere Pro so we can and lighten it up and brighten it up so we can see up in here.
What I mean?
See, I would not have no women up in here. I wouldn't have kids up in here either. I just would not do it. Now, if there was some other men, you know, like Vince, Vince, Joshua, Ruben Vera, if we had to get, and Andre, if we had to get work done in here, okay, I get it. But I would not have no kid because it's just unsafe. I wouldn't have no women up in here, and I wouldn't have. It's not a sexism thing either. It's about protection. Umar, he don't even think like that.
So then, that's one classroom. That's two classrooms.
And this is just the middle school.
And this is just the middle school. The high school that we just came out of is much larger. But this is still good enough. You know what I'm saying?
Desks and stuff in there too.
Yeah.
So
that's 3.
Yeah, they didn't do a lot of damage to this building, seems like.
Look at this. Oh, I gotta brighten this up. I remember we were watching. I said, why would he do this? But it doesn't register with Umar the filth because he's used to living like that.
That's more of an office. That's more of an office, but you couldn't.
No, it's more of a trash dump.
In the classrooms, that's your exit right there. This might be the girls' school. This might be the Anna Douglas, Amy Garvey Academy.
See, that's manipulating. That's just manipulating these women up in here. See how they get all, it's emotionalism. Umar knows what he's doing too. You guys, do not get it twisted. Umar, he's calculating. He knows what he's doing. This might be the Amy. What are you talking about? Yeah, Kimmy. How's it going, Kimmy? These are and Sweet Tea. These are the women that there were a lot of them around a lot back then, but they're not around as much these days. First of all, the money done ran out, but then also it's not a good look. Brother Ron right here, he got fired for the Boys and Girls Club messing with Umar.
Oh, yes.
Look at this.
Bathroom. We got it. You see what they did in the bathrooms?
He should have cleaned that up before he brought anyone in here. He shouldn't have anyone in here anyway, though. Okay, nothing's been inspected. You don't know about mold. You don't know about lead paint. You don't know nothing about asbestos. None of that stuff.
We got to restore the bathroom.
These signs right here were warning signs to tell people not to drink the water because it was contaminated. I mean, that in and of itself is enough, right? But Umar still had people in here in the dark.
Rooms.
See this? It doesn't register to Umar.
Bathroom. Look at that, Brother Ron. You see this? I'm trying to understand.
More signs too.
What they was looking for up in my roof like this, because I don't know what's up there that's so valuable.
All right, man. And this goes on. There's 3 of those videos, and there's 2 other ones where he had a tour. There's other tour videos too. There's one he took people up, and there's a massive hole in the roof. Let me see if that one populates real quick. No, it's not coming up. It might be from a different year, though. Let me see. Oh, here's, yeah, oh, man. This is the roofer one right here. I've been looking for this one for such a long time. But this is the one I was talking about. Let me pull this up. Watch this.
I can't. Next. Wow. Look at that.
Why the electrician said.
So for the idiots that be talking about turn the electron on, doc, whatever, that's why. You know, they don't know what they're talking about. I can't stand when people do that. You see this?
Y'all see this? This is 2019. Look at this. And see that his files, they used to talk so much mess, but see, Tom always tells the truth. I was just warning people, and I'm not saying she's directing that at me. I'm just saying that Tom always tells the truth. For Umar to even show this, it's reflective of his, there's something wrong. And then on top of that, why would you have women up in here?
So for the idiots that be talking about turn the electron on, doc, whatever, that's why. You know, they don't know what they're talking about. I can't stand when people do that.
Yeah, but remember February of 2019 when Umar does the school announcement video, he said that they were going to get the electricity turned on Monday. That would have been in February of 2019. So he lied about that. He knew what the conditions these buildings were in. In fact, he had visited these buildings in 2017, but he was inside these buildings to do the promo video in 2018. It was the fall of 2018. So he was aware of all this, but when he makes a school announcement video, he wants to make it seem like these buildings were in excellent shape, that you know, there wasn't much that needed to be done, and that renovations wouldn't take that long. Here we are, renovations still aren't complete. We're in 2025 now. But how is he going to get electricity turned on Monday when this is the condition? I mean, you got a massive hole in the roof in and of itself.
See this?
Outside, like straight up, that's open
Man, so they
came
just
into the
ripped it
roof,
out.
But then we said,
Wow.
Oh, y'all, okay.
You see that? It was coming in
see.
through the roof.
Look at that.
By any
stuff
means
there.
necessary. Copy.
Well,
Are you gonna keep all the furniture?
Yeah,
keep
I'm
whatever
gonna
you
keep
can, yeah.
it. That's money.
And this HVAC system, I mean, is this?
That's when the
Wow.
HVAC is largely in place from what they told you on the wall.
That's a lie too. We know that. I've shown drone footage of the HVAC. Everything's gone. Everything's stripped away. That's why he had to get them replaced. That one, at least one he replaced. He actually replaced one on the roof and a smaller one that goes on the side of the small gym. He knew that. He's such a liar. Okay. But again, this goes back to the comment that was made earlier. Okay, we're gonna get into these receipts just a moment, everyone. I apologize. So this was from Vince. Thank you so much, Vince, for being a member too. Yeah, it doesn't register. The filth doesn't register whether that is up at these abandoned buildings or it's at when he was living in had his own apartment back in 2019, or when he flipped the phone in his mama's closet in 2023, or when he showed the inside of the large gym in 2025, like what that was about 2 weeks ago. And he pretended as if that was new damage. No, that was all Umar. He's a hoarder, and he hoarded all this stuff inside that large gym, probably in other rooms inside of the larger school. That's why he hadn't shown it. He hadn't shown it for 5 years because he turned that whole other side of the street into his own personal storage space, and it doesn't register his mind. He's filthy, right? Thanks, Vince, for being a member. What's up, Black Anonymous says, I wonder if Umar said anything to her about being related to Freddy Douglas. I don't know. I didn't ask her that. I mean, I can put that on as a list of questions. In fact, let me do that now. But over the next couple of days, when we're getting together, we'll come up with a comprehensive list of follow-up questions. We'll do that for sure. I thought oh, here it is right here. Okay, so did Umar say anything to you about being related to Frederick Douglas? What we'll do, I think tomorrow, part of what we do tomorrow is we'll go through the interview. We really should do it today. And then I'll take notes if people have questions. And the questions that were, most of the questions, overwhelmingly, I would say 95% of the questions that I actually asked last week were directly out of the chat room. You guys did a fantastic job with the questions too, I must say. So I have that right here, Black Anonymous. Thank you so much for being a member, and thank you for the super chat as well. I appreciate it. Fairchild Republic says, notice how upset he gets when people comment on his personal sexual dealings. He calls that beta male behavior because he is always telling us how we should live. He evidences himself as a beta male by his own definition. Yeah, that's the thing. Umar, he claims he's an alpha male, but you can't be an alpha male living inside your mama's closet at the age of 50. You can't be an alpha male if you don't take care of your children. You can't be an alpha male if you've created at least 3 baby mamas and you've fallen out with all of them. It just doesn't work that way. You can't be an alpha male and not work consistently and not have a legitimate business. It'd be different if Umar had a legitimate business. Let me rephrase that. And not have a business, an operating business. And it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to be working a job, but you need to be earning your own income some way, somehow. But Umar doesn't do that. He doesn't even have his own vehicle. He's living off of black people, living off of the people. He's living off of his mama. And then you can't be an alpha male if you're out here sexually exploiting black women. I don't know why people think that it's cultural. I know in some cases it's just cultural programming. That somehow you're alpha male if the level of your manhood and masculinity is dependent on how many women you've sexually exploited. That's just backwards. See, Umar, by his own definition, he's a beta. I don't even like using the terminology because men who are handling business, we're not thinking about that. We're not interested in the terminology. That stuff. We're day by day, we're trying to do our best to do what we need to do for our wife, for our fiance, for our kids, etc. But Umar doesn't do any of that stuff. By his own definition, he's a beta. And then he's all in everyone else's business when it comes to, who people are dating, as he says, who you mating, this type of thing. And who black people, in particular black men, that's another thing. Black men who defend Umar, I don't get that either because he be talking so much shit. I don't mean to go there. I've been trying to tell myself that's what he do. He be talking down to black men all the time. But he sets a different standard. That's the code dynamic. He sets a different standard for himself compared to other black men. So y'all can't do these things, but Umar can do these things. Y'all can't wear the jerseys from the NFL or NBA, but Umar does it. You can't wear the fitted hats and blah, blah, blah. But Umar, y'all can't wear the Nikes and blah, blah, but Umar does it. Yeah, and y'all need to marry these black women, but Umar don't do it. And y'all need to not be going and trying to crush these strong alpha male. But that's Umar. He's something else. He's so twisted. But that's the cult mentality. If you guys study cults, cult leaders, they have a whole different set of rules and regulations for themselves, and they'll change it on a whim than compared to their followers. Their followers, they have to follow these strict rules and regulations. But they bend them, the cult leaders, they bend them, they'll change them at a whim. But that's Umar. But as soon as people start talking about Umar and how he's sexually exploiting black women, and see, all of a sudden now it's a problem. But see, if you listen to what Umar, all he does is talks about, he's basically he's a social media influencer who gossips about the sex lives of successful black men, mainly successful black men. That's why he's always talking about Snow Bunny this, Snow Bunny that, Snow Bunny this. That's what he's reduced himself to at this point. But then when people bring up his own discretions, all of a sudden he got a problem. Okay? But you notice, Fairchild, he ain't said nothing yet because he's a coward. I wish he would. Go and do it, Umar. See, back in the day, again, he was so big and bad, at least he thought he was. I wish he could. I bet you he wish he can take that back, but it's too late. Boy. Poor Umar. Sometimes I feel bad for him, but that's what he get. You know what I'm saying? The consequences. All right. Thanks, Fairchild Republic, for the super chat. Guy collected 10 grand to film a shockumentary, nothing. Now he's fundraising for another video project. Can't remember exactly what, though. I didn't hear about this other video project. If people don't know, and it's more than 10 grand, too, by now, because Umar, he was trying, this is the history part. Umar was trying to get into the Hidden Colors lane. Okay, because he was in Hidden Colors number 1. I think he was in Hidden Colors number 2. I don't think he was in Hidden Colors number 3. I think it's 1 and 2. Because I think by the time, if memory serves me correctly, by the time the 3, did Umar start talking mess about, and again, I'm not a fan of Tariq, but he started talking mess about Tariq. It was all about money at the end of the day. I've told this story many times, but this is the history part. I won't tell that part of the story, but Umar wanted to get into that lane because he saw how it was profitable at that time. These days, not so much, but back then it was very profitable. And Umar, in his mind, he thought that he was the one, that's what he said, that he's the one that made Hidden Colors pop. That the reason why it became successful because of him. That's the narcissism. So Umar, in his own mind, he starts to think, okay, I'm gonna do my own documentary. It's gonna be called the Shockumentary. I can pull up all the receipts on this too. It's crazy. If memory serves me correctly, in 2013, Umar was talking about it, and he was saying how it was going to premiere in 2014. Yeah, 2014. And I have the meme where he posted that it was going to premiere in the fall of 2014. He had been collecting money for it and telling people that it was going to premiere by fall 2014. Fall 2014 comes and goes, and there's no shockumentary. But Umar he's still raising money. Not only is he raising money for the shockumentary, he's also raising money for by that time, St. Paul's College. You see this guy? He's something else. And he keeps telling people it's going to premiere, doesn't premiere. And he still brings it up. He stopped talking about it, I think it was in 2022 or 2023, but it was supposed to premiere in 2014. I mean, he was so egregious with it. He took the initial meme, and I can show it to you guys. He took the initial meme that said that it was going to premiere in the fall of 2014, and he took it, and then over to the fall of 2014, he wrote 2022 or something like that. But it's the same meme, but you can see under it, it says fall. He just downloaded it and put to 2022 or 2020, whatever it was. I think it was 2022. And he was raising money for it and tell people, yeah, send donations for this, blah, blah, blah. This is the history of Umar. It's not just the FDMG school scam. It's all these other ancillary. He has so many different scams he's been running. Same thing with the Rules of Romance. He was collecting pre-orders for that back in 2022. The book still doesn't exist, but he was collecting money on it. Well, same thing with this shockumentary. And it's more than 10 grand. At this point, who knows how much money he's collected, but he don't even mention it anymore. See? And he don't care. See, he's a con man. He's a scam artist. See, listen, I'm not a Tariq fan, and I'm not a Tariq defender. A lot of people have criticism, and it's something, in my opinion, is legitimate criticism. I get it. But at the end of the day, we can say that Tariq produced Hidden Colors number 1. Tariq produced Hidden Colors number 2. Tariq produced Hidden Colors number 3. and number 4. And then he had these other ones too, other films that he produced too. Okay, I ain't watched none of them because that's just not my cup of tea. And Tariq's not my cup of tea either. But we can't say that about Umar. What has Umar produced? Well, he wrote 2 books. Yeah, but there's no source material. They're not scholarly. So it's just a bunch of bull jive. What does he produce? And it can't, all the money that Umar's collected for all these different things, what does it produce? Nothing. And this is just another example right here, Fairchild, with this he called this shockumentary. I put together a shockumentary because at certain point I said, okay, Umar, he's not going to produce this shockumentary. I'm going to produce a shockumentary on Umar, and I'm just going to do it on my own time and ask people for a dime. And I put it, and I'm working on another one now. It's even more expensive. I ain't asking for a penny. See, Umar, he's a con man at the end of the day. See? Thanks, Fairchild, for a super chat. User 225 says he was crashing out for weeks with the baby mama drama. Bet he'll be dead silent about this though. Yeah, he's had plenty of time to respond, right? It's been a week. It's been a week. Almost a week. People will be asking about his mom now. Yeah, and they have been, because I've been seeing comments, including at Avis. I'm just have to throw, and Joe Flo. I think that's Joe Flo. But I'm not going to bring that up right now. And they said, well, who's taking care of your mama? See, it's interesting because I've been talking about that for a long time, but there's people who didn't want to believe me. But then now we have confirmation, and there's no denying. See, Umar can't say that he didn't deal with this woman. He can't say that because she has. When I say she has all the receipts, I mean I was like, man, I have 4 folders, okay, of all kind of stuff. I just showed you just a couple of them. I only showed a couple of them to you guys. But Umar, see, the receipts are stacked against him by this woman, and then on top of that, this platform with the Cookie Crush chat, he listen. It wouldn't be to his benefit to talk about it, but if he did, fine, okay, because it gives us more content, and we'll just keep on going. No big deal. No big deal to me at all. All right. Thanks, user 225. But I see people they're mentioning it, and over time, if there's more women that want to come out and speak about their dealings with Umar, again, my email is LenonHonor@yahoo.com. If more of that information comes out, see, it's just Umar. That's his biggest fear, that's his greatest fear, because he knows he's been out here living dirty and manipulating these black women and exploiting these black women for money, for their time, for their, for the efforts and for their draws. Real talk. He doesn't want that to get out, but it's the truth. Okay, and he has a history of that going all back. I mean, even before the Contra Strip, but I'll just bring up the Contra Strip because that's the one that really kind of blew up in his face. That wasn't an isolated incident. This guy, he's done this. It's hundreds of women at this point. It's probably thousands. Okay, thanks, user 225. Tori says Umar posted on Instagram about black men having a collective mindset that are bad to their women and are in denial about it. This dude has no self-awareness. Yeah, that's what Umar does oftentimes, is when stuff like this comes out, he'll go to and he thinks that it's not tactical either, because it's just emotional. Because what he wants to do is he wants to paint a narrative. The sister says something that was interesting, and I've been thinking about it it's not even been a week, but I've been thinking about it because it's so very true that Umar, he has an avoidance personality, and what that means is instead of dealing with an issue right away and head on, he just kind of skirts it. He doesn't want to deal with it. I think that's again a part of Umar, just what he would call a beta. See, I'm the kind of person, and some of you men are probably the same way, and some of you women are too. If there's a problem, you want to get to the problem, and you don't want it to escalate so that it turns into something else. Right. Well, Umar, he has an avoidance personality to where when stuff comes up, he doesn't want to deal with it right away because he's a coward. I also think he doesn't know how to deal with things, Tori, because I think that Umar, he's in a state of arrested development on different levels. And one of the things is that he does not know how to manage these types of situations, where you would think that someone who's at the age of 50 by now, they'll be able to manage these situations and know how to deal with these, because they would have wisdom. Umar doesn't have wisdom. He doesn't. So with this avoidance personality, when stuff comes up, he doesn't want to deal with it right away. And so what he does is, it's in a passive aggressive way. He'll go to social media and he'll say something. And what it does is he's trying to paint himself in a positive light. He doesn't mention what the real issue is. See, because what the real issue is we have yet another woman who's come out to expose Umar as someone who is manipulative towards black women and who is consistently exploiting black women. I'm going to pull up some of these, but I ain't going to do it. Yeah, there's so many. There's so many images and stuff. And then at a certain point, Umar starts getting belligerent. And if you guys see what he was saying to her and stuff, you guys will see right away. He's something else. He really is. So this all to say, yeah, he doesn't have any self-awareness in a passive aggressive way. That's his way of kind of making himself feel better about the situation. And he has been doing that on Instagram. Okay. But he doesn't mention exactly what he's talking about. He doesn't address it head on. That's not what he does. He has an avoidance personality. See? So in a passive aggressive way, he'll throw out these things out there. And it's really to paint himself in a positive light as if he's like this good, outstanding black man. He's not. Okay? I don't think Umar ever was. I don't think he's ever grown into what we would call manhood. And everything is about sexually exploit or manipulating women to get what he needs in order to survive. And that's what it all comes down to. I'm trying to see something here. No, I can't. I really want to pull this up, but then we're going to be here for a month. Okay. Thanks, Tori, for the super chat. I appreciate it. The 185 says the man did not wash his hands after using the bathroom and then proceeded to rub his face. Absolutely disgusting. That's another example. Okay, that's another example. It doesn't register inside Umar's mind. I have at least 2 videos where he does that. He goes and uses the bathroom. He's still live streaming and doesn't wash his hands. And then when people in his chat room, you guys may remember this, when they call him out on it, he says, no, I did wash my hands, but he didn't. That's what I'm saying. He's a pathological liar. Instead of owning up to it, oh, I forgot, let me go wash my hands again. No, what he does is he lies. Just like when he flipped the phone and says, we're in the process of moving. No, instead of owning up that he's a hoarder, he lives in filth. So why wash his hands? See, people like that, they're not into that. That's why Umar, he's like the opposite to me in that sense. Because I got to be clean. I have to be clean. If I got to go clean, and it don't mean that if I got to go get dirty, I'm not going to get dirty. I'll get dirty, you know. If I got to crawl up under something and get all dirt and all that stuff, I can do that. It's no big deal. It's no big deal to me. But right after that, I'm jumping in the shower. I'm going to be up in there for a while. That's me. Umar, nope. See, someone who lives in filth and is just used to it, they'll even show a school that's in filth. They'll flip a phone and show that their apartment was in filth. They'll flip in filth. They flip the phone. It's like there's a term for it. Squalor. He's the most requested scholar living in squalor. See, when he flipped the phone inside his mama closet, living in filth, got his mama living in filth in Section 8 housing. When he shows the inside of the gym last week, a week and a half, and it's all filthy, it doesn't register to Umar because he's filthy. So that type of person, why would they wash their hands? They should. That's the last thing on his mind. So I have 2 videos. I can pull them up where Umar, he's running his mouth and he says, I got to use the bathroom. One time he said he got to change his socks because his feet were cold or something like that. But he got to go use the bathroom. You don't hear no water running. You actually hear him urinating. He ain't got no sense. You hear him urinate, hit the one, and then he flushed the toilet. Then the door open. He don't know what he was. I said, you nasty. What kind of nasty? That's Umar though. and then he used the bathroom. He didn't wash his hands. He started rubbing on his face. I said, man, nah, bro. Okay. I ain't making it up. I can pull it up. We got to go. Thanks, 185, for being a member for 33 months. How's it going using logic? Said I would respect Umar more if he had taken that $400,000 and bought his mother a house instead of those trap battles in Wilmington. Yeah, I would people have criticized him for it? Yes. Would I have criticized him for it back then? Yes. But now that I know in terms of the living conditions of the mother and what she's dealing with because of Umar, because this is partly his fault. You guys do realize that. See, he should have handled this and taken care of this, but he has an avoidance personality. In retrospect now, with what I know now, and the pictures that this woman sent me, oh man, I'm so tempted to pull up some more screenshots, pictures. With what I know now, listen, that would have been the right thing to do, was to, in the first place, get himself set up and get himself a 3-bedroom, 1 bedroom for him. The 2nd bedroom should be his office, right? And then the 3rd bedroom for his mama. That's what he should have done. But instead, he's flipped it around where he's living off of his mama, and she owns Section 8 housing. She got an eviction notice in 2023. It was a complaint from because it's Section 8 housing, and she hadn't renewed her paperwork for the Section 8 stuff. See, Umar should have been front line and center because he's supposed to be the primary caretaker, right? Yeah, and so with what I know now, truth and logic, and yeah, logically speaking, if we go back to 2019, and instead of Umar taking $400,000 to get these trap banners that he's been sitting on now for 6 years, instead if he got a house and he made arrangements so that his mama could move in with him and take care of his mama while he's supposedly going on with this school project, in retrospect, I wouldn't have criticized him for that. I would have been like, okay, yeah, that's money that should have gone towards the school, but it's not like he's done anything with the money for the school that he should have done outside of purchasing these abandoned buildings anyway. There's literally there's at least $1.6 million missing, 1.8 million dollars missing at this point, at least bare minimum. So it's not like he's done right with the money anyway. But if he done this just to get himself settled in and get his mama settled in, I would have had more respect for him. Absolutely right. It's just sad, you know. It just goes to show you, you know, Umar doesn't care about anyone else. He doesn't care about you black women. He don't even care about his own kids, his own daughters. He definitely don't care about his own mama. He probably traveling right now someplace and she's stuck up in his trap. Listen, like I said earlier, I don't even know how the mama, if she wanted to get up out of there, how she would get up out of there, because she can't go down the stairs. She's wheelchair bound. And if he's traveling all over the place and she can't use the wheelchair access thing, because there's it's a hoarder situation and there's all kind of shit stacked up against the spot where that opens into the actual house. How's she gonna get out if she had to get up out of there? This is some Umar. God forbid that she had to get out of that house for survival purposes, Umar. And you meanwhile you up laying inside a hotel, motel rooms, running through these women raw dog, huh? Boy, he ain't got no shame. None. But he didn't do right. He didn't do right by her. Okay. Thanks, Truth Is Logic. Lewis Sucks says he keeps his followers in the dark at FDMG and he keeps them in the dark with the finances. You're right about that. The last time Umar gave an update on how much money he raised was in 2020. He said $850,000. And in 2025, he says that he hasn't even raised $1 million. That's impossible, because if you had $850,000 in 2020 and you look at the IRS filings, well, you need to add $116,585. You need to add $121,646. You need to add $204,822 for 2023, and you're already over $1 million there. We're not counting 2024 or 2025. How much money you raised there? He's a liar. I've already gone over all of this. So he keeps people in the dark when it comes to finance, because that's really what that's where the scam is at. Again, my best estimate, $2.7 million. And that's on the low ball at this point, because I've been saying that for about 1.5 years. But I can prove just by the IRS filings, and I've done it. I did it last week. $1,618,354. The IRS filings and the purchase price for these abandoned buildings in Wilmington, Delaware, $400,000. He said a little bit more, $425,000. Just that alone. We're not counting the previous EIN number from 2014 to 2017. We're counting 2018, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. And that's it. We're just counting 6 years. He's over $1 million. $1,618,354. It's really 5 years. It could be proven. No, because we would take the previous year for 2000. No, because that was on 2020. Really, in 5 years, we're Umar $1,618,354. We're not counting 2014, 15, 16, 17, and 18, and 2024 and 2025. Okay? But he keeps it in the dark about the finances. That's one of the primary questions that when Umar's on these podcasts, like the Art of Dialogue, one of the first questions, at least when they bring up the school, how much money have you raised? Why don't they do that? Just a lack of integrity, in my opinion. No shade either. I'm just saying, same thing with Breakfast Club. No shade, but that's a lack of integrity. He's gotten on the Breakfast Club, he's been on there 4 or 5 times. If you guys go and listen to each time he's on it, 1 year he doesn't even mention FDMG, but you listen when he talks about FDMG, he's contradictory even when he's on there. So why not ask him, how much money have you raised? How much money have you spent? They don't do that because it's all about getting views. But it shows a lack of integrity by these platforms that have Umar on. continue to keep his followers in the dark about the money. And that's where the scam is at. Okay. Thanks to us. God's little Prince says, Lenon, you be cracking me up. Flip that phone, mama's closet. He got me. That's basically the Umar Johnson story. He flipped that phone. That's when it started. We ain't gonna talk about that else that happened before that. Got a little princess. He flipped that phone. That's the Umar Johnson saga starts. All right. Then he a mama closet. You got the order wrong. He flipped the phone, then he got it big in the mama closet. That's too funny. And that's basically the Umar soccer in a nutshell. All right. Thanks so much for being here, God, little princess. That's hilarious. Okay, yeah, if y'all hit the like button, we got 1,050 people up in here. If y'all hit that like button, I appreciate it. We're trying to get to 500. Veritas says Shoemake is entropy incarnate only a matter of time until, yeah, you said this before. You said something like Umar is the ultimate time waster. It's true. You said something like that. I can't remember exactly. I'm paraphrasing, but I thought about it. It's so true because he don't never get nothing done. He just, just all right. It was something like that you said, but it sticks. It's so true about this guy. He's the ultimate time waster. All right, thank you for your child. All right, let me do these other because we got blown off. Hour and 20 minutes. I ain't even gotten into the show. Ox the Rhino says Black people want a leader so bad we are willing to green light malevolent behavior. Yeah, in your face lies, and we place our hope in deceit. Shameful. Yeah. The thing is that Umar, he is a master manipulator. He is what I call the great deceiver of our time in the Black conscience. But he's deceived so many people. I mean, people that are otherwise intelligent people, but see, he knows how to manipulate people, and he knows how to put on a persona. He's created a whole persona around himself, and none of it's real. See, the baseline Umar is he's a very quiet, subdued, depressed individual, and then he'll flip because he'll go manic, right? But in terms of him being, he's still saying that he's a school psychologist. Just a critical question. Umar Johnson follows. Where go online right now. If he's working as a school psychologist, you should show me receipts on that. I'm talking about in 2025, 2024, 2023, 2021. 2022, 2021, 2020, 2019. I mean, he's been traveling around the world for like a decade now. How are you going to be a school psychologist? And he's telling people I'm doing diagnoses on these children and blah, blah, blah. No, he's not. So part of it, Ox the Rhino, and it's not an excuse because he's a master manipulator because people still have to have discernment. He's manipulated so many, and they believe that he's one thing, but he's none of those things. Real quick, what has Umar led? Get on your Cash App, get on your PayPal, send in your checks and money orders. What has Umar organized? He's not a leader. Leaders lead, leaders organize. Leaders also, they uplift. Umar doesn't uplift Black people. What he does is he shames Black people. He's disrespectful towards Black people. Right? He manipulates Black people. Most of his rhetoric is disparaging towards Black people. So he's not a leader. But what he's done with blatant lies, he's misrepresented himself to people and Black people who, again, looking for leadership, which is really symptomatic of a deeper issue. And that is not having proper Black male leadership in the home. That's really what that comes down to. You don't see this with any other group of people either. The desire to have some sort of Black leadership, but mainly Black male leadership, but really what it is for a lot of people. And I'm not saying overwhelming, nothing like that. I'm just saying that for a lot of Black people, what they're looking for is strong Black male leadership because that's not what they have in their home, and they didn't experience that. Okay? But Umar's not the one. He's not even a father to his own children. See? Yeah. But again, it is, and at the end of the day, it's shameful. It is. So yeah, and on one hand, you know, Umar, he is to be held accountable, but then at this point in time, in 2025, people who follow him and believe them, they have to take some accountability too, because we're living in the information age and we have something called the internet, and you can do all the research. See, and this is for anyone. Everything that I say about Umar, I can back it up with receipts. I have terabytes of information, videos on this guy that I've gone through a lot of it. I've taken copious amounts of notes. See, it's all out there. It's a matter of taking the time and doing your due diligence, and then by taking the time to do the research, you then have discernment. I think that's one of the things that you know, there are some black people, they just simply don't have that. They don't have discernment. And so Umar, with his lies and master manipulator, they see him in a certain way. He's not that. He's the great deceiver of our time, like Sauron. He's a metamorph. That's what he is. He knows what he's doing too. But he is to be held accountable. But at this point in 2025, people have no excuse because information is all out there. They have to do their due diligence, do their own research, and then draw the appropriate conclusions so they can have proper discernment. And then they can have informed consent. A lot of these Umar Johnson followers, they don't go through these steps. They don't go through the critical thinking. They don't think that it's not about logic. It's about emotionalism. You know, it's not about looking for receipts to verify what Umar is saying or how he's misrepresenting himself. Again, if he's a school psychologist, show me. There should be an online record for 2025 that shows that. He doesn't even hold a certification as a school psychologist in 2025 or 2024 or 2023 or 2020. Come on, people, go look it up. Anyway, thanks, Ox the Rhino. Smitty Boy says so many OSHA violations in that reg. Yeah, you're absolutely right about that. OSHA, even having people up in there is an OSHA regulation violation. See, more recently when he had children up in there, the children had gotten inside these abandoned buildings while he's up there. He don't even know they're in there. That's an OSHA violation. So if the hammer wants to come down, the hammer can come down on Umar on so many different levels. OSHA in and of itself could come up there and they could see the video with the children coming up out of the abandoned buildings. And that's a violation. Umar would be fined for that. See, and then if he has repeated offenses, and who knows, God forbid, one of them children get hurt up in there or worse, then what? See, but Umar, he's not thinking about that. Those abandoned buildings, that's just a prop that he sets up at this point where he goes to beg for money. See, they serve no purpose other than that for Umar. In my opinion, that's why he purchased them. You know, I have a video where Umar, he's being interviewed. And he's telling the story about acquiring these abandoned buildings in February of 2019. And he says, I couldn't get, because they wanted $1 million, 1.5 million, they wanted one, but I didn't have that. But he should have had that based on his own record of what he said, how much money he had raised. He said, I didn't have it. But then they told me to give me whatever you have. Well, if the purchase price was $400,000, he said a little more than that, $425,000. You mean to tell me, Umar, that all you had left was $425,000? Wherein I have you in 2015 saying that you had $500,000. Word. And you know what? That's all he had left. That's why he couldn't start renovations right away. He get to begging and shit. Then he started telling people, you know, I got to find the blueprints. That goes on for like a year and a half because he's trying to get more money so he can at least start acting like he's going to renovate. Renovation still ain't done. But if that's all he had was $400,000, a little more than that, $425,000, where the rest of that money go? Got him. I was watching that the other day, yesterday. I said, oh, God. And I have notes on that, so they've been documented for sure. But yeah, so many OSHA violations. Umar don't care, though, because it's all about getting money out of people. All right. Thanks, Smitty Boy. Lewis said, do you have the Maria Richard Mona de Leon vids? I do have the Mona de Leon vids. Maria Richard, I don't remember who that is. Isn't that the lady that was on Boyce Watkins' YouTube page? No, that was Maria Lloyd, but didn't she get her name changed? Yeah, I'm not sure if that's who you're talking about. I don't even know if his voice still doing stuff. I don't even know, because before he was doing gaming videos and shit. I said, what in the world? I said, saving black people one tournament at a time. It was one of them shoot 'em up games. I don't know which one it was. I'm just playing. Maria, the Latina lady. Oh, yeah. That's I affectionately call her Maria, but I do have those videos. That'd be in a documentary too, because in that video he was saying how he was going to turn the main office into a music studio. And Maria was up in here. Yeah, I'm not sure if that's who you're talking about. For the uninformed, Maria Richards sued. Okay, so that is who you're talking about. Thank you so much. I didn't read the rest. I'm so goofy. I just started reading about, oh, are you talking about Boyce Watkins? Yeah, that's who you talk about. Okay, so for the uninformed, Maria Richards sued Boyce for stealing her ideas for Black Wealth Boot Camp. Maria De Leon uncle offered Umar land and he refused. Yeah, that's in the first documentary. The Maria Lloyd, because I think she got married or something. Maria Richard, that's not in the first documentary, but I do have that video because she did a great breakdown of Umar, and it was more from a business standpoint. Umar got very upset about that, and that's one of the reasons. If you remember the history, looks like that's one of the reasons why Umar started going at Boyce Watkins. It was that, and then Boyce teamed up with Tariq Nasheed. Y'all remember this? And then they was tag teaming Umar. Actually, Boyce was passive aggressive because he's more passive aggressive, but he would say things, you know. And then he would have women come on to speak out against Umar. I didn't like that either. Okay. Anyway, and I believe her too. She did sue him. Because Michi X, she told the story, and I believe her too. She said that Boyce Watkins, that he stole her domain name, or what would have been her URL, which would have been MichiX.com. When she told him, so that's what I'm saying. You guys got to be careful with these people online. See, men that are operating like this, Umar included, you guys, because that's manipulating these Black women. When she told him what her plans were to set up a website for her products and do poetry and all this stuff, he goes and he purchases the domain name. Who does that? He probably still owns it to this day. And she came out and she went on him because a lot of people didn't know about all of that. So what he used to do is he would have women come on and then he would have them do, produce them. And he would pay them. Sometimes he wouldn't. Yvette Cardinell. There was another young lady, Paris, Milan. She was really good. She had real good editing skills and stuff because I don't know if she's still around, but I remember her YouTube page blew up after she separated from Boyce. But Boyce, he had a history. I don't know if he's still doing it or not, but he would exploit these Black women and have them come on and they would be doing all this work and he would pay them sometimes, pay them not, blah, blah, blah. Then they would have a falling out, one after another, one after another, one after another. Okay, well, what's the common denominator? Boyce. All right. Again, I don't watch his videos. He's not my cup of tea. But that's the history of this stuff. But yeah, I remember her. Yep. Yep. There's women who come out and said that Umar stole their ideas too. I'm not going to play that though. Boy, it's crazy. Thanks to us for a super chat. Okay, Manny to the Max says, I didn't miss this lesson on Cookie Crush one. Yeah. When Umar says cookie, that's a euphemism for vagina. Now, I want people to think about it. How many times have you heard Umar say cookie? Okay, well, that's what he's talking about. He's supposed to be a school psychologist. Is this the person you guys want to put your children in this funky fake school? There's something for people to think about. There's no way. He has no business being around children, period, talking like that. See, he called the little girls, he said that she had rotten cookies. What kind of man? Why would you even think of something like that, let alone say it? And he was in the abandoned buildings when he said, well, little boy was over there too when he said it. He has no business being around you, but that's what he's talking about when he talks about crushing cookies. All right. If you didn't know, you must do that. Franchise says things feel as though they're reaching a critical mass and we are moving towards an inevitable event horizon. Yeah, I love that term because that's the sci-fi. I think it depends, Fairchild. First, if Umar responds, that's gonna go towards this event horizon. It wouldn't be to his benefit per se. I mean, his followers, they may eat it up, but at the end of the day, Tom tells the truth. We have so many receipts. It wouldn't make a difference at the end of the day because if we do get together on Friday, what we'll talk about, what will be revealed, it's just there's no denying it. See, Umar can't deny that he was dealing with this woman. He can't deny it, and that he can't deny that he was with, and not he can't say I wasn't in the hotel room and none of that stuff. No, I know he was in the hotel room. Well, what do you mean? We'll see on Friday. So he can't say that. So if he does, it's going to push forward towards the event horizon. If he doesn't and more women come out, it's going to push forward to the event horizon. So we're going to have to wait and see how this plays out. You know, the thing with Umar is always something. You know, this year has been kind of crazy though, if we think about it, because it was his daughter comes out, and then all this baby mama stuff and all that was going on. The vandalism is another part this year, and then now, you know, another woman comes out to expose Umar. You know, it's this year. This year it's been interesting. It really has been, and it's moving closer, like you're saying, to the event horizon. We're gonna have to wait and see. That's the thing about the Umar Johnson saga. You know, there's ups and downs. And there are times where I think Umar feels as if he's invincible, but then like right now he feels very much exposed. You know, he'll get on the Art of Dialogue. And I think that boosts his ego, and Art of Dialogue gets a lot of views, but it shows a lack of integrity on the part of Art. Be real with y'all, okay? But Art, you know, got to make that money. I get it, okay? And I think Umar, he feels invincible in those times, but then boom, here we go. Getting close to that event horizon. It's inevitable. This is critical mass. Okay, so we'll have to wait and see. We'll go, you know, day by day, week by week, month by month, and we'll see how this plays itself out. Okay, this is a very interesting time, definitely. Thank you, Fairchild. I think it's a critical time. Thank you, Fairchild, for the super chat. James, what's up? James says Umar watching right now eating chicken nuggets. Yeah. She said that Umar be eating chicken nuggets. I believe her, because I have a video where Umar he had the, you know, the pajama mama video, and he brings out, he's sitting up there, he talking about he went to go get a fish fillet. And then he put out one of them things, the McDonald's fry, and he comes up with this whole narrative. And I think I was sleepwalking. At 11 p.m. I was sleepwalking at 11 p.m. I walked over to the McDonald's. I went in, I ordered but I was sleepwalking. I ordered a fillet of fish and some fries. I said, okay, you sure have that story together, sir. He been in hotel, motel rooms. And again, like I was saying, it's sad because he has his mama living in Section 8 housing, living in squalor and filth, while Umar, he's laying up inside a hotel, motel rooms off of donors' money. What kind of man? Shout out to James, too. I appreciate you, bro. Seth says, I listened to Maya Angelou get a Cortor. What? What in the world? What are you talking about? Maya Angelou gets a quarter. I know what video you're talking about. I think you talking about Umar was mad about the quarter with the Maya Angelou. That he was mad about the dollar bill. Something, because he's always getting mad about something. He kept saying a quarter. I think that's what you're talking about. I could be wrong, but I remember that. All right, thanks, Seth. Oh, the memories. Thanks for the super chat. Daxter, what's up, Daxter? I sent in a super sticker. I appreciate it. Barry says Umar is on a hamster wheel. He has nothing to look forward to. It's a bleak existence. Yeah. I think when he gets on shows, like I was saying before, Barry, when he gets on shows like the Breakfast Club or he gets on the Art of Dialogue or the Joe Budden podcast, I think that's a boost to his ego, and he feels like he's on top of the world. I think when people give him praise, because that's something that the sister was saying. I don't know if she said that during the interview last week, but she said it. I think she this was in the email. She was talking about how Umar likes to be praised and worship. That's the word. So I think when he's praised and worship, he feels better. And then when he gets on these different platforms that are big time, he feels better. But at the end of the day, it's just a hamster because he always ends right back to his bleak existence. Okay, again, someone who doesn't have a job, he doesn't have his own place. He doesn't have his own car. He has tax liens like crazy, student loans. He got child support. He's in arrears on. He got at least 3 baby mamas. He don't take care of none of his kids. And that in of itself, man, I don't get that. I don't see how. No, there's no way. There's no way. Today, my son, he was, I don't know if he was putting the curtains up or putting them down. It's not even curtains. It's the thing you pull the thing and it'll go up and then you pull it and it'll go down. It's different than from what I remember back in the day. Back in the day with the curtains, used to be like, these days you go like this and it's going to go down. You go like this and it start going back up. But something happened when he was doing that and it fell down. And so he came and said, Dad, I need your help with this. I said, okay. I said, let me come take a look. And I said, well, thank you, son, for calling me because, I wouldn't want you trying to do this by yourself because it's by the window. We're on this 3rd floor. So I would much rather I come and do this for safety reasons than you try to get up here and do it and something happen. He said, oh, yeah, that's yourself. So thank you for letting me know. See, I can't imagine not being there for my kids, just even in to that capacity. And it took us like maybe 40 minutes because I had to actually take the thing down, unscrew it and all this kind of stuff, got my power tools. And then we have to figure out what the problem was, reassemble it, and then put it back up, and then rescrew it, and then take the thing that comes down and reassemble that into it as well. And my son, he's watching me doing this at the same time, so he's learning as we go along. Stuff like that. I can't imagine not being there, you know. But Umar, you know, he has a bleak existence, and the fact that he's not even there for his own children, that's telling in and of itself. He doesn't even care. See? So yeah, he'll get big and bad and boastful. You know, he's on different platforms and all this stuff. You know, maybe he goes in the speaking engagement or what have you, and they'll give him some attention, and he feels good. Some of them worship him, but at the end of the day, he has to return back to his bleak existence. Okay? And see, Umar doesn't realize that things, and they've consistently gotten worse. He doesn't realize, because he lacks wisdom, that when you're on that hamster wheel, at a certain point, you have to step off and say, okay, what do I need to do different? That's what I had to do. What do you have to do different? And then whatever that is, you take, or whatever those things are, you take steps day by day to move in a different direction so that you're not on the hamster wheel. So when you always end right back up at the bleak existence. See, but that's Umar. He doesn't have that level of self-awareness or wisdom to recognize that he needs to make some serious changes. See? Thanks, Barry, for a super chat. Nacha says, has he been reported for practicing without a license? He's never had a license. That's the reason why they called him into the Pennsylvania Board of Psychology or something to that effect, because they were asserting that Umar was misrepresenting himself as a licensed psychologist. Umar tried to make, because this is what he spins narratives, he wanted to make it seem like they're trying to take away his degrees, they're trying to take away my certification. They ain't got nothing to do with that. That's just Umar spinning this narrative, because he always wants to feel as if people to think that he's being persecuted. That's part of the narcissism and the histrionics. No, it was very simple. They were like, you're misrepresenting yourself and you're acting as if you have a license, and you're saying that you're a school psychologist, but even he wasn't a school psychologist then either. But see, what the reason why those charges didn't stick is because Umar, he says, I never told people that I was licensed. See, now, did he have a certification? Yeah, he had a certification to be a school psychologist. He had a certification to be a nationally certified school psychologist, something to that effect. Okay, he doesn't have those certifications anymore, but back then he did. Okay, so the point is that Umar, he's never presented himself as being someone who has a license. For a long time, he didn't tell people, though, that he had a license, that he didn't have a license. Okay, he didn't say that he had one. He didn't say that he didn't. But that's what I mean by he's a manipulator. See, people assume too much about this guy. That's one thing. These con men, they want you to assume a lot. See, but what we find, what the research shows, and Umar admits that I have it, I can play it for you guys. He admits that he never had a license. And so what would happen is he had a certification, and he would have someone above him who would sign off on his work. And that person is the one that has a license. If you don't have a license, you have to have someone who has an authority, who has a license to sign off on your work. If you have a license, you have a license to go and do your job, and you don't have to have someone sign off for what you're doing. You guys understand what I'm saying? See, but Umar never had a license. And he explains that he didn't want to go and he didn't want to deal with the white man and blah, blah, blah. I have that inside of my notes. But he never stated that. Initially, he never told people that he didn't have a license. It wasn't until later that he actually started telling people that he never had a license. Okay, he did have certifications. He's still telling people that he's certified in 2025. He's not certified in 2020. He has no professional certifications in 2025. This goes back to what we were saying before. Umar, he's concocted this whole narrative, this fantasy about who he is, and none of it's true. He's a con man. Thanks, Nacho. And then Lewis Suck says, yeah, Maria Lloyd Richard. Yeah, okay, yeah. She donated money to Umar too, and was probably the first to ask where his business plan was and how much he collected. Boyce defendant then turned on her. Umar did too. Yeah, Umar went in, he turned on her, and Boyce Watkins did too. Yeah, Boyce Watkins has a history of that, of just, using women. And he set up something that was called, I can't remember what it was called. It was a secondary YouTube page where it was just all for women. Something Queens. I want to say Nigerian Queens or something like that. I don't know what it was. Nigerian Queens or Queens. I don't even remember what it was. I don't know. Anyway, Michi X was on there. That other lady was on there. Then they had a falling out. Anyway, it just goes on and on and on. All right. Thanks, Lewis, for the clarification. I thought that's what you were talking about. I just couldn't remember. That's part of the old history. Yeah, but boys end up teaming up with Nubian Queen. That's what it was. It was Fly Nubian Queen. That's what it was. Michi X was on there. And that lady just being okay. She's like, welcome family, Habarigani Hotel. A free man on the land family. She a scammer too. Because she had these cards, like little plastic cards, these womb cards. And you get these womb cards. I don't know what you're doing. I don't even want to guess. But the point is, you get these womb cards and you get money that way. Anyway, yeah, it was called Fly Nubian Queen. yeah. Her name is Vicky. She used to crack me up because every time she started a show, she said, Habarigani Hotel. I said, okay. Anyway, she had beef with Michi Jackson. They was going back and forth. They used to both be with boys. The boys had a big old mess. Boys, it is a messy. It was so messy. Anyway, I don't mean to laugh. Yeah, Caribbean Queen. It was called Caribbean Queen. That's what it was. Umar, he tried to set one up called Hot Fudge Queen, but it didn't work. Yeah. Michi flames everybody. That's I listen. I would hate to get an argument with Michi. Okay. I wouldn't even do it. I'm like, okay, you're right. Yeah, whatever you say. There's no gravity. There's no gravity. That's fine. I'll start floating and shit. Listen, you said there's no gravity, Michi. There's no gravity. That's fine. Okay. Okay, let me stop. Let's get back to it. All right. Did I get to all the super chats? I think I got it. Thanks, Louis. Like, it got me blowed off with this Maria Lloyd voice walking stuff. Can you explain Tiff the Griff? I'm her. What in the world are you talking about? I can't explain Tiff the Griff. That's a whole nother thing. I can't. I don't think she supports Umar anymore. Maybe she does. I don't think she does because she used to be online and stuff. But Tiff the Griff was one of Umar's diehards. She would go at everyone on Umar's behalf. She used to go at me. And I never went back at her, but she used to make up all kinds of lies. She used to say all kinds of crazy stuff. She would go after people who were Umar Johnson supporters. That's how she was. But with her, it was all about attention. She wanted to be Umar's number one. Even though that was never outwardly stated, it was clear to me that she wanted to be on, like on his level, on the throne, as it were. I know it all sounds goofy, but on the throne, sitting next to him. The truth is, Chompers, is that Umar was afraid of Tiff the Griff. And in my opinion, I think that part of the reason why Umar was afraid of her was, number one, that she was close. She would be at different functions. She would be there, so forth and so on. But there's something that the interview guest Lene said last week in the interview. I don't know if you guys caught this, but it just, in my mind, the way my mind works, she said, she was talking about Umar's mother and how there was this undertone about being fearful of witches. I don't know how deep I want to go into this. You guys remember this? Hit the one in Cooker Chat. Y'all remember this? And it seemed to me, it seemed as if not only did Umar's mother not take kindly to that, this kind of undertone of witches, but it seemed as if Umar had some sort of reservation about these certain black women who he classified as witches. Now, someone could say that she's a witch, and that's one thing. But Tiff the Griff, she really is into that stuff. No, really. Fairchild, you know what I'm talking about. See, I was going to show something, but I can't even show it on my page because I'm not with that. That's just, darkness is darkness, is light and light. Light is light. I try to stay with the light. See, I don't play them games. See, she's into that. She called herself the witch bee word. So I'm going to tell y'all something. It's on one hand, it's because she was so close, and Umar, he has these paranoid issues, especially dealing with black women. He thinks they're all out to get him and so forth. So, but really, he doesn't realize it's him. You know, he's I was going to say effing these women over, but he's messing these women over and over again. He's been doing this for decades, literally hundreds, if not thousands of black women at this point. And there's always going to be retribution. There's always going to be a consequence. That's why even Lene coming out last week, that's part of it. That's just one example. There's plenty of other examples. See what I'm saying? So on one hand, he's paranoid, and because she was so close, I think he had paranoid issues right there. But then on top of that, she's into that witchcraft. She's really into it. Witchcraft stuff. See? And I think that puts fear at Umar as well, because that's something I think in his mind he feels like he can't control. But see, Umar, he's into that dark. He's a dark person too. See? And listen, the only reason why I wouldn't show it is because I don't want people to be exposed to that. I just don't. That's just not. That's never been. I don't want people to be exposed to that. See, Umar, he's really has some affiliations with some people. There's a brother that's out of Detroit that Umar was affiliated with for a while, and he even took shots at me. You know, at a certain point. Come to find out, he have a whole criminal record. The reason why he up there trying to sell fat burn, it's like 5-gallon jugs of so-called fat burn juice. The reason why, because he has a criminal record going back, and I mean, a lot of these people they can't deal in the same thing with Vicky Dillard, criminal record. See, so they got to get up there and scam, and so Umar's affiliated with a lot of these types of people, and he's scared of some of them. He's definitely scared of Tip the Grip. Okay. Anyway, thanks, Chompers, for Troop Chat. Let's get into the show. So we got about 1,100 people in the building. Thank y'all so much. How we doing on time? Yeah, I figured let's go for another hour. Okay, we'll be back tomorrow. We'll be back next day, and then hopefully, if everything works out, we'll have Lene back on Friday for 4th of July, and we'll do a mini marathon. And we have plenty of receipts to get into for that. And even if it doesn't work out, what I'll do is I'll come on and we'll get in. I'll bring up a lot more of these receipts that she shared. We'll go through some of those receipts, but it'd be better if she's able to come on. We put together a PowerPoint presentation for that, but we'll see how things go. All right, let's do this quick crash chat. Thank you guys again for doing on. Thanks everyone who sent in super chats as well. I mean, you guys blessed me straight up out the gate. Miss Cookie says, "Is this what it means when we are told to listen to the message or disregard the messenger?" I think that this is a good point. I think that for some people who want to justify Umar's behavior, this is and I have to say, the illogic that they come up with. And it's this whole thing of, listen to the message, not the messenger. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. See, the messenger should live the message. And if he or she does not, they should be discarded because they're a hypocrite. And see, what people like Umar do is they're in total contradiction to what they say they're about, or what other black people should be doing. I'll give an example of that. In such contradiction, he'll tell black men you need to marry these black women, but he ain't married not one. He's 50. He got at least 3 baby mamas. He's out here running through these black women raw dog, and been doing it for decades now with the bumpity bump on his lip. So to me, it doesn't matter what he says; it's how he lives. See. But when you have a vacuum in the black community wherein you don't have strong black male leadership consistently across the board, that's where people like Umar, males like Umar, they can thrive. See? So Umar, I think Miss Cookie, he's an example of the hypocrisy that exists. When people say, no, it's not about the person, it's not about the messenger, it's about the message. No, it should be about both. Because if a man is a man of character, he's going to live his message. He's not going to be a hypocrite, right? And if we just focus on the message, and anyone can say anything, and then they be out here and they'll be sexually exploiting black women. And in some cases, they be sexually exploiting black children. Dr. York, but he had a message, the message. Okay. See, from my vantage, I'm going to say from where I come from, but from my vantage point, it's about the person in the first place. What is their character? See, that's why Umar is able to thrive, because he knows how to spit a message to people, even though he don't believe not even a tenth of what he's saying, but it's just enough to get his hooks into people. And once they got that hook in, he get that money out of them, get them draws. Oh, and then people, his apologists, they say, "Oh, well, it's not about the messenger; it's about the message." No. They don't realize that the message is what is being used by the messenger to manipulate the people, to exploit the people, and that's Umar. Okay, so yeah, it's fascinating because I've seen Umar Johnson followers. They jump through hoops when you present them with information. When they see information, it's cognitive dissonance. They're trying to figure out a way to justify why they're following someone who's been homeless since 2019, who's living off of his mama, who's traveling around the world, living in and out of hotel, motel rooms. And when he's in hotel, motel rooms, everything is all nice. You know, he's laying in the bed. Meanwhile, his mom is living in Section 8 housing in squalor and filth, literally. This is someone who's trying to get Black women to take care of his mother. This is someone who doesn't have his own vehicle. This is someone who's been in the reels for child support for over 20 years. He has 3 children, bare minimum 3 children. He don't take care of none of them. This is someone who can't even tell you one story about what he did with any of his children. But it's not about the messenger. It's about the message. I don't think so. See, that's what I mean when we talk about having discernment and using logic and reason and critical thinking. See, if someone comes across the internet and has all these things to say and the message sounds great, but they live in foul, you have the extra critical question, then why do they have this message if it doesn't line up to how they live? And the reason why they have the message is to manipulate people. Reminds me real quick, just popped into mind, Miss Cookie. There was a couple, something Jackson. I can't remember his first name. Jackson. I think they were in Atlanta or something like that. They were a married couple. He would do these videos online talking about, you know, relationships and marriage and blah, blah, blah. But so he's putting on this persona that he was a dedicated husband, so forth and so on. But come to find out, all these information start coming out, and a woman came out first. I think another woman came out, and they would text message and showed he was running through all of these women. Anyone know what I'm talking about? Jackson, last name Jackson. Yeah, Derek Jackson. That's him. Chris, thanks, Chris. Yeah. So his name was Derek Jackson. And so the thing is that his message sounded nice, but he was living foul. He did a video. He had his wife sitting next to him, and she had on a bonnet, and people were like, "Why they got him looking? Why is she gonna have her on?" And he's trying to, you know. I don't know what he was trying, public relations, whatever. No, you are who you are. That's what I'm saying. I don't want to hear all that. So you can say whatever you want to, but at the end of the day, it's who you, in my opinion, it's who you are. See, let's give a quick example. Listen, I'll say some positive things about Black women. I'll say some positive things about Black men. The thing is that there are people say, "Oh, the reason why you're saying positive things about Black women is because you want to get one." No, I'm not interested in that at all. I got a wife. I'm good. We've been together now. I was 25. It's been almost 25 years. And I don't even have the time. I never understood that. Why men would have other women. This is too much. Well, when you got, I ain't got time like that. I got a full-time job, part-time job with YouTube. We're gonna have don't even make no. I got 5 kids. I'm gonna come home and one day I'm gonna, yeah, but you know I got another woman. I'm gonna tell my sons that or my daughters. You gotta not your damn mind. It's crazy. And to what benefit too, Coochie? Listen, you women out there ain't got nothing to worry about with me, okay? That's the difference. That's one of the differences. First of all, I like to be clean. Okay, that's number one. Okay, number two, I ain't out here. That don't make no sense. Is women fine? Yeah. Oh yeah. Do I notice? Absolutely. But I'm a family man. I got a wife and children to take care of, and I'm not gonna mess this up because my wife been the biggest blessing I've had in my life, and literally, and then by proxy, I got 5 kids with my wife. I ain't gonna mess for over some cooch. I'm gonna mess that up. No, that's crazy. That don't even make no sense. Logically speaking, it don't even make no sense. So you Black women here, when I talk, it's not. I'm not trying to run no game. You ain't gonna see me trying to send you no DMs and nothing like that. I even have to. Listen, there's people who made up fake receipts on me, gay guys. One of them said I sent him a booty pic. I said, what? I ain't never done nothing like that. We don't do that. Why would you send a booty pic anyway? It don't even make no sense. I don't mean to go off. I'm just saying. These gay guys, I get it. Okay. I'm a fairly attractive young man at 50. I'm almost 50, but I'm fairly attractive. I get it. Y'all get to fantasize. Yeah, he sent this text and he did that. Just come on, deal with you. That's you. Okay, deal with what you got going on. Don't put it on me. And even if you is into that, I'm not going. That's not my place to judge you for it. I'm not. That's not me. Okay. Okay. Now the point is, you women ain't got nothing to worry about, and you men ain't got nothing to worry about. Let's move on. Anyway, Derek Jackson is another example. There's plenty of other examples. So, in my opinion, it's not simply the message. It's about the messenger, and the message should line up. And if they don't, then you have to ask some critical questions, use some logic and reason, and have some discernment. And then if you want to continue with informed consent, go on about it. But see, at the end of the day, a liar is a liar, and a scammer is a scammer. Okay? All right. Yeah, that's what they said. I said, come on. Who does that? Why would you? I mean, what does? Are you gonna send that to? What they gonna do with that? I don't get that. Anyway, let's move on. Yeah, that's what even Tip information man, even Tip the Grip was saying that. I didn't appreciate that, y'all. I really did. Now I forgive people now, but at that time I was like, man, that's wrong. Don't do me like that. All right, let's move on. Okay. This chat room is a mess. Okay, let's get back to it, shall we? So we're going to go for another hour. What I like to do is because we're dealing with this theme of Umar exploiting Black women. That's the poll question. We've got 1,245 votes. 89% said yes. 11% said no. Okay. I want to go back in time, and I want to go to 2014. I want to play something for y'all. Most of you guys haven't seen this, but this just goes to show you that Umar's exploitation of Black women is not something that is new. Okay, he's been at this for a very long time. And I have videos even before 2014 that will corroborate what I'm saying. The earliest video that I have of Umar is 2005. That's the earliest one that I've been able to find that's online. But I also have videos from 2010, 11, 12, 13. I think I would say in 2012, you can still see him trying to exploit Black women. It's gotten more and more egregious. I want to give you guys an example of Umar back in 2014, April 19th of 2014, engaged in this type of behavior long before, what we see today in 2025. He's always been like this. Okay. User 225 says, hot take, using sex workers is better than chasing. I wouldn't even do that. There's no way. My commitment is to my wife. Okay, we had our marriage ceremony. That was about 22 years ago. And then another thing, I'm just a clean person. I wouldn't be dealing with someone because they could have just been dealing with somebody else and got fluids, and I can't do that. I'm a little bit, I don't know what they call that. It's just, I like stuff to be clean. I like to be clean, and I just can't be, I've never been like that. Just be in and out of different vajayjays like that. I don't mean to say it like that, but I never lived my life like that. I never have. All the women that I engaged in sexual intercourse with were women that I was in a committed relationship to. Just from a hygienic standpoint, I couldn't do it. That's just me. Okay. I'm not here to judge. All right. Thanks, User 225. Real quick, and thanks to Miss Cookie, a great question too. I appreciate that. And Black Wolf sent in gifted another membership. Thank you, Black Wolf. Make sure y'all thank Black Wolf if you received that membership. And matter of fact, anyone in the chat room, just thank Black Wolf for that. Very kind. Thank you so much. No Contendo says JS's episodes of psychosis can be tied back to his ties to people who exercise witchcraft. I don't mix up any doopy business, including Ouija board and tarot. Yeah, people can do what they want to. I just think that in Umar's case in particular, that if you're claiming that you're going to be opening up a school for Black boys, and you're dabbling in these types of things, and then it's required that they learn EFA. That in of itself is a problem. Okay, and again, if you're a practitioner of EFA, there was a time that I was in the EFA. Okay, That's not the issue. The issue is that we have someone like Umar who he wants to dictate to these young boys what they are supposed to be learning, including black boys who may be Christian or who may be Muslim. You see what I'm saying? Because that's where we get into the cult dynamic in this. And the truth is that Umar, the thing is that we all have darkness in us. I don't want people to get that twisted. We all have that. Okay, we have something that's dark in us. Okay, the idea is, do we decide to project the light and then grow the light over time, or do we decide to get consumed by the darkness? And see what Umar has done, he's gotten consumed by the darkness. Even how he talks, what he talks about, how he talks to people, it's just all dark. See? So what I'm getting at is, on top of Umar's issues, including the mental health issues, he's dabbling in these types of things. And this is the person that's going to open up a school for black boys. If you're sexually exploiting black women, you're in the darkness. I don't mean to be talking like this, but I'm just being real about it. It's exploitive. It's harmful. See, if you love black women, you commit to one, you decide to commit, you marry, you raise a family with, okay, you're in the light, and you treat her right. You take care of her. Okay, you're in the light. Right? Now, do we slip sometimes and make mistakes? Yeah, absolutely. But see, Umar, over time, what I've seen is that he's just a dark person. He lives in a dark space. Real quick, and this is going to be the last point, then we got to get going. I would propose that even Umar, living in filth and being okay with it, he's in a dark place. For him to have the women walk through there and there's no electricity, it's dark, he's in a dark place. And it doesn't even register in his mind. For Umar to try to manipulate black women in order to get them to take care of his own mother while he's traveling and living in and out of hotel, that's darkness. See, same thing when he was dealing with Tiffany Griffin, the type of people he'd be dealing with. It's all darkness. See, Umar, he's consumed by the darkness within him. See? And again, people can do whatever they want to, but there's always a consequence, good or bad. See, in my life, I try my best. And I'm not perfect, but I try my best to live within the light and to grow it over time. Okay, that could be, even taking time with my son to fix that's light. But Umar can't tell you any of those stories because he's living in the darkness. He's been living like that for a very long time. And see, I don't understand why Umar doesn't recognize that and then make the appropriate changes, because it is a choice at the end of the day. No matter what we're dealing with in life, where we're at in life, whether you're in a dark place or in a light place, you can make a decision one way or the other. And if you're in darkness and you know that it's not pleasant and you know that it's you don't feel good, things are crumbling around you, well, then you got to make some serious decisions. And then you take steps to get into the light. And what happens is, as you're taking the steps to the light, it starts taking steps towards you and it grows over time. Umar hasn't even figured that out. Okay? And his associations are problematic too. Okay. Thank you, No Contendo. User 225 says, hot take, using sex workers is better. Okay, I got that. It is a hot take. Okay. Umar was dealing with sex workers over in Ghana too, by the way. We did a whole show for members on that. That was crazy. Please say the videos or you discussed TIFF. I think you're saying please play the videos where I discussed TIFF. No, there are older videos. I have older videos too that I don't have archived in part of the real quick. Then we gotta get going because we only got like 50 more minutes, and I do mean 50 more minutes because we're gonna go tomorrow, next day, and then Friday. I have older videos where back then I was promoting different people and it just didn't turn out right. So I can't have those videos online because if I'm promoting these people, then people see that I'm promoting and they go onto their YouTube page and see what's happening. It will reflect poorly on me. And, I had to learn some very difficult lessons. My first inclination is to support and to promote people, but I learned some very difficult lessons especially earlier on. So there's older videos where I was promoting people, and I just can't have it up here because I don't want people to see those. And say, oh, well, Lenon's promoting these people, but look at what I don't want that attachment. Now, does it absolve me from promoting? Like somehow I didn't. No, I did. I promote them. It was a bad decision. There was a consequence for it, and it is what it is. I can't change that. Okay, but I don't have those videos up because I just don't want to have. People see those and they go check different people out that, just didn't turn out the way that I had hoped, Yeah, I've learned a lot of lessons. That was just a huge mistake on my part. You know, it is what it is. And, you know, I can't say that I was wrong for doing that because I thought that it was the right thing to do. But with wisdom and discernment these days, it wasn't the best thing to do. Okay. All right. Okay. Let's get going here. Quick Crush Chat. So I want to play this first video. This is from April 19th. And thanks for all the super chats too. I appreciate it. This is from April 19th, 2014. The poll question real quick is Umar Johnson exploiting black women? 88% said yes, 12% said no. Make sure you get your vote in. And we're over 500 likes as well. Let's take a quick little break here. Thank you guys so much for all of the likes. And normally what we do is when we get to 500 likes, we play Tupac, California Love. Well, at least Umar's rendition of it. Okay. So this isn't the actual version. This is Umar's rendition of it. I just have to say that in advance. Here we go.
Bells about a bell, California dreaming. And run stepping in there, that nigga who's screaming. Did it from money and alcohol, the feed of the best five ball. The body, the rhythm died. The college, the champion. That's right. Like a slow jam. It's West Side, so you know that I'm bad down to no man. Put them there, put it up, bomb beat from Dre. To the roof of the leg. From Oakland to West Side. The back down. Show me love.
This is y'all's principle. He was really trying to do it in the club. He said, I don't be going to the club. No, you was in the club trying to sing Tippy Tippy Toe Jam. You need to cut it out. Yeah, he goofy. What's up, Jesus Price? And Bradley, thanks for tuning on in. Get a clue? That's them right there. That's them right there. That's Jackson and his wife right there. That was crazy when that blew up. Okay, let's get going here. So this video is from April 19, 2014. I'm just gonna play a little bit of it.
And it's even higher amongst poor, isolated black women who ain't got another black woman that she can trust. I'm gonna tell you something. Black brotherhood is in a bad condition, but black sisterhood is 50 times worse. You feel me? If me and him got a beef, we can squash it. It may take a couple days or weeks. Y'all will hold on to something for 20 years. And y'all suffering in silence. Do y'all feel me? And I'm gonna tell you.
You see how full, in retrospect, remember his beef with Seti, his beef with Tariq went on for years. His beef with Boyce went on for years. Anyway.
Something else y'all do that I don't like. Some of you, not all of you, and hopefully not most of you. The younger sisters, a lot of black women do not take younger sisters under their wing. How the hell you jealous of a 16-year-old? So what? Her behind is bigger than yours. So what? She had too much KFC. That ain't no chicken. You ever ate that meat? It tastes like noodles. Black women are often underdiagnosed for depression.
Okay, that in and of itself, yeah. What's up, Binky? Show me love. show me love. Yeah, you see how he has to reduce it down to the body parts. Okay, this is the objectification of women. Okay, but this is all a narrative. Most of the women that are there, they're younger, so he's trying to placate to them. And that's his target demographic anyway. Okay, again, this is 2014. So Umar, he's what, about 39 years old at the time. So he's not trying to give it older women. He's trying to give it women who are younger. And again, and in fact, he impregnated a young lady who was in her early 20s when he was in his early 40s, which would be around this time, by the way. All right, but this is an example of what I mean with even back then, Umar, it's exploitive. Okay, this is him running game in advance of trying to hook up with some of these women who are in the audience.
The younger sisters, a lot of black women do not take younger sisters under their wing. How the hell you jealous of a 16-year-old? So what? Her behind is bigger than yours. So what? She had too much KFC.
Okay, why is he talking about a 16-year-old's behind? See this? Yeah, he is. Yeah, and no, he does. He does, because the little girl that he was, like I was saying, at the college tour, I wish I can show it, but no. He was following her around. I don't even know how old she was, younger than 16. There was three of them that he was two that he was targeting mainly, but there was one that he focused on her most of the time. So yeah, he's looking. He's a pervert. See, it was in him even back then. It's 2014.
That ain't no chicken. You ever ate that meat? It tastes like noodles. Black women are often underdiagnosed for depression and they're not given meaningful therapy. Many sisters have been traumatized by past relationships and abuse and need to talk. Okay? 3 goals for today. What I want you to walk away with. Help you better able to understand your relationship pattern and why you tend to attract the same type of man. Help you explore the unconscious relationship between unmet psychological needs from childhood and the type of men you date. Help you see the relationship between self-confidence, self-esteem, self-love, and the treatment that you accept. In other words, many of you are allowing men to mistreat you because you have a core belief in your gut that you deserve to be mistreated. Did you hear that? Rather than beat yourself up, you let him do it so you don't have to take responsibility for the self-inflicted pain.
Yeah, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's self-inflicted pain. It would be that someone else traumatized them, right, Umar? Boy, this guy, he's a master manipulator back then. He's a master manipulator. Look at him. He's the great deceiver over time. I don't know any of y'all are into, and we're going to go for another, let's see, 40 minutes, okay? I don't know if any guys are into Lord of the Rings, but Rings of, and really all of them, I enjoy all of them, but the Rings of Power really tells a story about Sauron and how he was a great deceiver. He's a metamorph. He would change and become what other people would, want him to be. But he would manipulate them into believing that he's something that he's not. And that's how he was able to exploit, the elves. He was able to exploit, what is not the trolls, but the Gimli and them. Well, Umar's the same way. He's the same way. Very deceptive.
Fathers and daughters, it all starts there. Your relationship with your father, the one you had or never had, has been and will be very influential in shaping how you choose your mate. Most importantly, your father made you feel. Most importantly, how your father made you feel about yourself as a child may be the greatest unconscious motivator for the type of men that you attract and are attracted to.
Meanwhile, Umar was a deadbeat then to his daughters, and he's a deadbeat now. The irony of this.
Attract the same type of men is because they're feeling a need that daddy did not. When we are born, we have 2 emotional jugs. One says mommy, one says daddy, and they got to be filled the hell up before you start dating. If it ain't filled up before you start dating, you start trying to do what? Compensate. And that's why so many of our 14 to 17-year-old girls walking around with a baby in here because they're looking for the love that they never got from their father and they try to get it from a young boy. They're not hot in the pants. They're looking for that jug. The jug ain't filled up. And you know what's so sad about it? What makes this sick is, guess what? Your love, the fatherly love, can't come from a romantic partner. That can only come from the biological father or a replacement. It can't come from the romantic partner. And some sisters, because of that need for a dad, put too much responsibility on the romantic partner. He can't be your daddy. I do not want to hold your hand in a relationship. I do enough therapy my damn self. Are you with me? So you got to find a surrogate for that, somebody you can pour into and trust. And hopefully he ain't attracted to you on the other end, because then he'll try to manipulate that into something sexual and make the situation worse than what it was.
See him projecting? See how he goes into that? Umar, he's the ultimate projector.
To find a surrogate for that, somebody you can pour into and trust. And hopefully he ain't attracted to you on the other end, because then he'll try to manipulate that into something sexual and make the situation worse than what it was.
Wow. Yeah, he is, Karen. He's weird. He's a weirdo. By the way, his first baby mama, because he tells a story and it's corroborated by his daughter. Umar tells a story of how he was a graduate student, but he was a graduate student that was supposed to be, kind of guiding the undergraduates, which would have been Umar's first baby mama. And there's like a 4-year difference. So if we say that it was his first year in graduate school, Umar would have been 21, 22, 23, 4, 24 or 25, and she would probably have been 19, maybe 20. Yeah, something like that. The point is that his job was to keep those undergraduates safe, but what he did was he preyed upon her because she was younger. She's an underclassman. He was supposed to be helping and keeping them safe, guiding them. That's not what he did. Ends up getting her pregnant. So when Umar tells these stories, it's just Umar projecting. He does that a lot.
Okay? You got a lot of 70, 80-year-old men who still think they got it, and they don't. Your relationship with your father. Was your relationship with your father neglectful? Was it abusive? Or was he absent? If your relationship with your father was neglectful, that means you tend to become emotionally needy, and you need a lot of attention from your partner. If your father was abusive, sexually, physically, or verbally, you tend to be an untrusting woman, and you desire a man who can protect you. Now, we're going to talk about later, this is a problem. You want to know why? Because women
it's really not this simple. This is amazing to me, this guy.
who are molested and raped tend to look for men who are very aggressive to protect them from further pain. The problem is he becomes your new abuser. Was your father absent? Women who have fathers who were not there tend to be physically needy, which means they always need a man in their presence, and they crave reassurance. They need you to constantly reassure them of the relationship.
Yeah, East B.
Know what your daddy did wrong, okay, so you'll know what to do right.
Well, Umar, you didn't learn that from your daddy. He was absent, you absent. Deadbeat. Deadbeats.
Love versus lust. If you were not adequately shown love by your father, you may have a difficult time discriminating between the love and lust that you have for a man. Women without strong emotional bonds with their father are more likely to mistake lust for love, especially when the sex is good. He hit that spot, booyah, I love you. No, you don't. You in lust, but you don't know.
See that? It's all sex. But this is what you call grooming. That's what he's doing. He's grooming his audience. He's a predator.
What love is. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Father, you may have a difficult time discriminating between the love and lust that you have for a man. Women without strong emotional bonds with their father are more likely to mistake lust for love, especially when the sex is good. He hit that spot, booyah, I love you. No, you don't. You in lust, but you don't know what love is. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Okay? That lightning strike, boom! I love you, boo. Well, this
This nigga, I'm sorry. I can't believe this guy. At first, real quick, Umar said, that lightning strike, boom! I love you, boo. This guy is a nutcase. This guy, everything comes down with sex, and if you could get that boom, then all of a sudden she love you. You can live in your mama closet. You ain't got to work a job. You can stank. You know what I'm saying? You don't take care of your kids. You can be scamming on FDMG school camp. But if you put that lightning on her, pow! She goes, I love you, boo. Umar is so stupid. He's just stupid. This is some of the stupid shit I ever. Yeah, your mama living in Section 8 housing in Phil, just a boo, hit that lightning bolt, bow. She, I love you, boo. You ain't gotta have no muscle mass. Look like a seal. Elephant hands. You can barely walk, but a boo. I love you, boo. That's what he said. He said, what kind of man say that anyway? All right, let's keep going. Oh my God. You don't need to be talking like this, young lady. Cut it out. How you doing, Casa? Awesome. Oh, good to see you though. Every time, whenever she don't be around, I'll be worried about because she young. I'll be like, hope she ain't get it. Because I have daughters. I'll be like, hope they do it. Hope they ain't doing nothing crazy. Good to see you, Casa. I'll be worried about the kids. I ain't gonna lie. All right. I love you, boo. I wish my wife would. Anyway, how's it going, Holly B? Holly says, grooming is absolutely right. He grooms people to come to accept his deviant behavior in comments. It's awful. Yeah. Keep him away from kids. Absolutely. I also think that part of what the grooming part is to talk about sex, right? And oftentimes what Umar, and he does this a lot, it's a form of projecting. I don't know if we would classify straight up as projecting, but it's a form of projecting. It's like he presents these hypothetical scenarios. And he does this a lot. This is something I noticed as I'm taking notes on Umar. He'll present something as a hypothetical, but really it's his way, in a passive aggressive way, of infusing himself into a scenario with this woman or with these women, potentially, right? An example is when he did the video where Maria was up there and they was inside the school. He starts talking. He's like, and this is Mama Oshun or whatever it was, and her color is this, and that's what you got on. You have her color, so you probably. This is him grooming, and then he flips it. And then they go outside, and he starts talking, and he's like, yeah, well, we have to have a council of elders so that they can help us, blah blah. And as an example, let's say if you and me had a baby. I said, what? Y'all remember that hit the one? See, he was grooming her the whole time. And he's throwing out this scenario, this hypothetical, but even though it sounds as if it's like, it's not real, but he's throwing it out there as a form of grooming so that they would at least consider it. Well, that's what he's doing here. That's what predators do. And that's why Umar has no business being around children, period. I've been telling people that for a long time. Truth be told, he ain't got no business being around no women either, because he's a predator. See, if you're 50 and you can't tell me one story of being in a long-standing committed relationship, but you don't had sex with, I don't know, who knows how many with the bumpity bump 2 on top of it, something's wrong. See, Umar's a bigger problem. It's not just the school scam. That's not it. I mean, it is. That is part of it. But there's other deeper issues here too. The Holly B, what's really sad too is in following Umar for all these years, the money is what has enabled Umar to exploit Black women. Because this is what allows him to travel all over the place. It's off of the donors' money and live in and out of hotel rooms. And what women have told me consistently, what Umar does, he said, you want to come up to my room? To my hotel room? There was one lady, I think she had called in. I gotta find the video. She was saying how Umar, I think this was on one of these live streams, because I was trying to remember all the different women that have actually come on and talk about their experience. But I thought, if memory serves me correct, I could be wrong. There was a woman that called in and said that I don't know, there was an event or something like that, and she had Umar come out. But then after the event, he was like, "You want to come to my hotel room?" And she didn't want to at first, but then he persuaded her to, and he was like, yeah, well, we're just going to be hanging out. Ain't nothing going on, blah, blah, blah. But then when she gets up to the hotel room, she was talking about how he just kept trying to have sex with her. He's probably begging. I get it. Can't tell how many times I beg my wife. Man, you know what I'm talking about. Sometimes y'all just... Anyway, I thought that was something that we did. Yeah, Black. Yeah. Wasn't that on that? I thought that was a live stream we did here. I can't remember. Okay, but anyway, that's part of what Umar does, and he's traveling all the world. He's probably done that hundreds of times, if not thousands of times at this point. So what he does is he uses his speaking engagements and his when he's talking, he uses that to groom. Like one time, I have a video. He used to do this earlier on where he would tell the men, let's make sure that all the women have a seat. This was in his heyday when he had a gang of people that would come out to watch him speak or listening to him speak. And there would be standing room only back then. There'd be women standing on the wall, and he would, and I knew what he was doing, because he ain't got no love for no Black women. He only take care of his own kids, his own daughters. Listen, if a man don't take care of his own daughters, you women, don't think that he got love for you. That's crazy. Okay, if he has his mama living in squalor and living in filth in Section 8 housing, and he's done taken up the second floor of that building, and his mama can't even go upstairs and can't even get up out the house, and it's Section 8 housing, and Umar stayed there, there's nothing that he's going to be able to provide for you. And there's no justification for being with him. This is real talk, but no matter what he say. See? But Umar has a history of this type of behavior, of grooming his audience. And one time what he did was he was like, Black men, we got to respect the women. We got to love women and make sure they're taken care of. So, some of you Black men will have to give up your seat. You Black women, you want to sit down, please go ahead and raise your hand, blah, blah. That's just him grooming. He's just using this as an opportunity to oh, wow, he's a great guy, blah, blah, blah. No, he's not. The receipts show that. See? Umar's been at this for such a long time. Thanks, Holly B. He ain't got no business being around no women either. That's what he said. Booyah. That's what he said. He said that lightning strike. Booyah. I love you, boo. Let's say one more time. Here we go.
You know you don't.
And thanks, Holly B, for super chat. Thanks, Derek, for super chat. Here we go.
You in lust, but you don't know what love is. Are more likely to mistake lust for love, especially when the sex is good.
Okay, this is Umar. He's projecting here.
He hit that spot. Booyah! I love you. No,
He said, booyah. This guy.
you don't. You in lust, but you don't know what love is. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Okay? That lightning strike, boom! I love you, boo. Well, damn, it's been kind of quick here. Are you intimate with the man's personality or are you intimate with his penis? Which one is it? Which one is it? Which one is it? If the lightning rod stopped working, would you still be in love? Okay? Do you love to be with him or do you love
What is he talking about?
to be with his hardware?
See, everything is reduced down to sex.
Stop lying to yourself, ladies. Stop lying to yourself. Master the 4 elements. Here we go. Men principally are looking for 4 basic needs to be met. 4 primary. There are others, but these are the primary. Number 1 is food. Satisfy their appetite.
Okay, see this? He's Umar talking about himself. Watch this.
2 is fantasy. Satisfy the sexual appetite.
See this? You guys following this? Hit the 1. This is all about what Umar needs. Food. I didn't tell it, people. Sexual fantasy. He's a sexual deviant.
I didn't say freaky stuff.
No, you're not saying it, but we know what you're talking about. Umar, you're a freak. You're a freak. Okay, super freak.
Okay? The freaky stuff comes after a commitment.
But I thought you said you weren't talking about the freaky stuff. See? Umar wants the freaky stuff without the commitment.
Are you with me? Okay? If you got the type of bond with a man, so be it. You do what you want. But generally, that's the stuff you need to save until after marriage.
He's proving you right now. He's proving me right now on Instagram. What is he doing? Let me go look on Instagram real quick. Let me go see. He's probably up there eating butter biscuits. Knowing Umar, he's probably up on Instagram eating butter biscuits. Let me go see. I'll just play. Butter biscuit eating. I'm not seeing, well, I don't know what he got up on here. Something that says Picnic 2025. What in the world is going on? I ain't putting that on there. Umar tripping. Let's keep going.
Now, the no sex before marriage, I don't believe in it. You know why? Because once you've had some cookies, you got to sample the cookie before you buy it. Once you drove a car, don't you need to drive a new car before you know what?
Yeah, but why are you before you buy? What are you talking about? Okay, it's not. It's he sees ain't nothing. None of this have to do with love or a relationship. It's transactional in essence.
It is, and that's even good for a woman who's sexually active because you want to make sure he can please you 360 degrees. That's the curse of premarital sex.
Here he go. Yeah, Umar posting some crazy freak off type of stuff. You can look it up for yourself on his Instagram page. Picnic 2025. He says, I think I'm going to throw my own picnic before you got it. It says Bigore before summer ends for all 5'5" thick in the thigh, all natural from head to toe queens who have donated to the FDMG Academy. He watching this right now. Umar, you're a goofy. Okay, he posted this 14 minutes ago. This is your passive aggressive way. I don't know. You're just making it worse, goofy. And then he posted something that says Picnic in Chicago, Saturday, 8/2/2025, noon to 7 p.m. And it got some women on there. And get your tickets at the culturescloset.com. And it says, Coverture, this will be, anyway. So are y'all inviting the Prince of Pan Africanism to the Thicknick? All right. There we go. Yeah, he is. He proved my point.
And that's why it's good for us
not
to have sex before we get married. Because if you never know what it is, you don't crave it. And so
see this guy have sex before you get married. He trying to get with all these women. He's such a perv. This is grooming.
If you've only had one woman or one man, you can be totally content because you don't know that there's others who are worse or better. But once you've sampled cookies and you've been in all kind of cookie shops, okay, you tend to know whether you want the hard cookies or the soft, chewy cookies.
See? Look at him. It's y'all's principle. It's all vagina. This is the vagina talk. Look at this goofy.
But once you've sampled cookie,
Once you sample vagina,
and you've been in all kind of cookie shops,
and you've been in all kinds of women, right? Having sex with all these different women.
okay, you tend to know whether you want the hard cookies or the soft, chewy cookies.
See? He has a history of this type of deviancy.
Umar, you fresh. I'm just playing.
No, he's just grooming.
Friendship. A man is looking for you to satisfy the need for a trustful companion and confidant. And you got to be a confidant. Ladies, I'm going to be honest. Y'all talk too much.
Here you go.
Brother divulge something to you, got to tell your girlfriend. But guess what? She got a confidant. She got to tell her girlfriend. She got a confidant. She got to tell her girlfriend. Now the whole damn room know. When a man tell you to keep your mouth shut, you keep your mouth shut. He's trusting your trust.
What?
And then feminine phenotype, mental and physical attractiveness. I want you to understand what this is. Because I see a lot of women spend a lot of money on trying to make themselves look physically beautiful. There's nothing more attractive than the self-confidence that comes from a black woman.
That's right.
Are you hearing me? A man can walk into a room and see 5 physically attractive women. And then you got a sister over here who by many standards people wouldn't consider to be attractive. But the confidence is there. The self-respect is there. The self-esteem is through the roof. He's going to gravitate to her. And even if he marries you because he wants something pretty on your arm, you can best believe that you might be his wife, but she is his queen. So those are the 4. How many other women? It's real simple. Ask yourself, how many of these you satisfy? I satisfy 2, but there's a possibility that there's 2 other women. I satisfy 1, there's a possibility that there's at least 3 other women. If you satisfy all 4, you're good to go.
What are you
It's
talking
really
about?
just that simple. You don't want to cook? Okay, he's getting fed.
Huh?
You married and you don't want to do the little tricks he into? He'll get them elsewhere. Now, I'm not
What in the world?
telling you, because some brothers got some issues. Are y'all with me? I've heard some stuff. I'm like, hell no, I don't care how many rings he get you, how many die. You don't do no stuff like that. That's not even us as African people. He been watching too many videos on that porno channel. Get that taken off the cable.
Okay, that's Umar. He's projecting.
Okay? So you still keep your standards even in marriage. Okay? I'm going to tell you what else you mess up. A lot of you mess up when you get married, you stop being the woman he fell in love with. Yes. Wait a minute. When I met you, you was into this and you was into that. Yeah. You was into this and you was into that. You always kept yourself looking good. You was always confident. You was on the go. You had goals. And so when I married you, your whole life became me. Damn. I don't want me to be your whole life. You follow me? If that's the case, I just date the mirror on the wall. I can look at the mirror to see myself. I don't need you to be a reflection of Umar. Be who you was. And don't let a man take you away from being that, because an insecure man wants to lock you in a house because he's afraid of the competition.
Who's locked in the house? Good curse trap. Who's locked in the house? His mama. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what you call enmeshment issues. That's why Umar will say things. The person you're supposed to fall in love with the first is your mama. How many of y'all have heard him say that? They set she as a man, as a boy, I guess, is your mama, and then as a girl, your daddy, and that your parent sets the standard for intimacy. Then he'll say, well, not in a sexual way. What are you talking about in the first place? That's how he talked. It's called enmeshment. I've been telling people about it, but this is another example right here. He can't help himself. This is him projecting. Look at him.
myself. I don't need you to be a reflection of Umar. Be who you was. And don't let a man take you away from being that, because an insecure man wants to lock you in a house because he's afraid of the competition.
Wow. Boy, that's so deep. Lori says, wait, but he talking about shaving relaxers and cutting blonde weave and being natural. He want to change women. Yeah. He's a hypocrite. See, the thing is that back then, though, too, Laurie, Umar wasn't talking. I mean, he would mention this, but he wasn't talking like he talked these days. He wasn't talking Snow Bunny crisis all the time. He was talking about cookies. But if you go back even further in time, he wasn't talking about cookies as much. This is just kind of like, you can just see that over time, it just gets worse and worse. But he wasn't, I mean, he would bring it up, but not like how he does now. You got to be natural, and I'm going to bulge. I'm going to shave your head off. You know, by the time we get to 2019, he crazy with it. This video's from 2014. He mentions it, you know, he would bring it up, and it is about changing at least. See, the thing is, it's more propaganda than anything else. Umar, his type is a woman who wears blonde weave. That's what he wants. That's why he was dealing with the conscious stripper. She had what? She had blonde weave. He was perfectly fine with it. Y'all remember that? He likes the stripper type, even though he tells black women, you know, be wholesome and, you know, don't give up the cookies and blah, blah, blah. All this kind of talk. He wants the kind that be on the pole, that the sex worker type, the type that be into that freaky. That's what he wants. But he'll tell something different. So his mask for that, and this is what he does as a master manipulator, he masks all of those. Really what it is his sexual deviancy. He masks that under this notion of women, you need to be natural, and you know this, you've got to respect yourself, and I respect you, blah blah blah, and you know you got to have natural hair. But see, if you guys listen to what he's saying, and ultimately he's really talking about himself as someone who's going to manipulate black women into being something that he doesn't want them to be. He can care less. He wants the stripper type, but he has to put on this facade. It's part of being the Pan Africanist and, you know, cultural and dashiki wearing. But see, the King Kong consciousness, the little thug archetype, who ain't nothing but a punk. What he wants is the freak off type with the baby oil and the blonde weave and, you know, this in the nighttime and the huffing and puffing. That's what he wants. See how twisted this guy is? He's something else. He really is. Same thing. Another example, Laura, is he'll say that, you know, black men shouldn't date outside the race. He should be dealing with these snow bunnies, but that's what he wants. He wants a snow bunny. He desires a snow bunny. He's so twisted, but he'll tell people that that's not what he desires. See, just like he'll tell black women that what he wants is you to be natural. It is still a form of, it's really about control. Like, I'm going to dictate to you how you're going to wear your hair. But secretly, Lori, what Umar wants is that blonde weave. Real talk. Yeah, Suki Hana, another one. Yep. He sneak kissed her too. Anyway, thanks, Laurie, for the super chat. Okay, we got like 15 more minutes, y'all. So let me play a little bit more of this. There's other stuff I want to get into, but we're not going to have time. Here we go.
By some religions, and I'm not going to name them because I was raised in one of them, some of them, as they are practiced, play right into the hands of an abusive man because they preach the type of stuff that they want to hear anyway, like the woman's place is in the home or the woman's place is in the kitchen. Are y'all with me? So you got to be careful about that because men tend to gravitate to those types of faith because it backs up what the ego desires anyway.
He's talking about himself.
Now, you should not be dating if you're still in love with another man. You should not be dating if you still have pain from another relationship. And you should not be dating if you are unhappy with yourself. Understand this. Two unhappy people cannot make a happy relationship.
Umar, be quiet. What's up, big man? Kim Ringo had blonde weave and turkey wings for Umar the Big. No. She didn't have blonde weave. She didn't have no, she did. Didn't she say she was going to make him some turkey wings? I think she did. I thought I saw a text where she said she was going to make him some turkey wings. Now, wait a minute. I think you're influencing me. Let me see. King Ringo text messages. to Umar. I thought they said something like that. She was gonna make him some butter biscuits. See, now I gotta go with it. Just made him some butter biscuits and some sweet potato pie. They're not even coming up. The text messages ain't coming in. The text messages ain't coming up on Google anymore. Maybe if I put in conscious stripper, because that was the other name, conscious stripper. I should get her on, huh? Because I never back then when this was all going on, I didn't cover it, but I should get her on. I don't know if she would want to though. Yeah, some of these text I have all of them, but I don't see nothing about no turkey wings. Turkey wings. He said turkey wings or chicken wings. Turkey wings. Yeah. I thought she said something like that though. Anyway, all right. Thanks, big man. Hope you're doing all right. Oh, okay. She did make turkey wings. All right. I'll take your word for it. I know one thing. She did say that she had to get on the pole to get that donation money. I kid y'all not. Well, that was wild. Umar's such a goofy. Okay, thanks, big man. Good to see you too. Hope everything's going well with you. This is one of the old OGs right there. Shout out to Big Man. Okay, let's start winding this down, y'all, because we're gonna be back to every day for the rest of this month. Let's go back to this video right here.
Why don't we understand that? You miserable as hell. He miserable as hell. How y'all gonna be happy? How? You obsessive compulsive and he narcissistic. That ain't gonna work.
See, Umar's both of those things. See this? Hit the one. Umar is narcissistic. We've talked a lot about that. Okay. He believes that he's God's gift. He never holds himself accountable for anything. It's always someone else's fault. He has delusions of grandeur. Even the idea of FDMG is delusion of grandeur. This goes on and on. And what else did he say? He said narcissistic, and he said, I can't remember what was the other one. Watch. I know which one. Compulsive, something like that.
You obsessive compulsive and he narcissistic.
Okay. Obsessive compulsive, yes. Well, hoarding is a compulsive disorder. Umar projects so much. It's amazing. You guys go back to these older videos, and then with what you know now, based upon like what we've done over these many years, you go back to the earlier videos, and Umar, he's just talking about himself. See, you know what I think? I think part of it is because Umar, he's in predator mode, and he's grooming these women. So he's trying to create these hypotheticals, like I was saying before. You know, you're dealing with this man. Neither one of you are happy, but then because he wants to connect himself really sexually to these women. He starts to talk about himself. Interesting matrix, if you guys really think about it. So it's projecting a hypothetical, but he's really talking about himself as someone who's narcissistic and he has a compulsive disorder. Hoarding is exactly that. We talked about that last week. Remember? This is fascinating. He's compulsive.
That ain't gonna.
Even when he repeats things 3 times, that's another example of it. There's other examples of it too. It's compulsive disorder.
Work. Emotional neediness equals unhappiness. Women who are preoccupied with having a man in their life are seldom happy because they don't give themselves enough time to find a suitable mate. A needy woman will take any man even if he's not good for her. Because you're needy. You got a magnet in here that says, I need a man. I have low self-esteem. I need attention. You'll never be happy because you don't give yourself enough discipline, time to search and find what's best for you.
Yeah, he's talking about himself there though too.
If you're emotionally needy and you always need a man staring in your face, you'll never be happy. You'll take the first thing that comes because the man for you is not a man. He's a drug, an intoxicant.
Told y'all. See, Umar, his sexual exploitation of Black women is exactly that to him. Yeah, he got substance abuse issues too, but I'm talking about sex to him. That's what it fulfills. It's exactly that. Food, sex, and drugs. I've been telling people. Yeah. But he's gonna blame them. Like, this is what y'all be doing.
Almost divorced. Oh Lord. Ladies, I know when you marry your brother and you done, and you're ready to move on with your life. But there's no such thing as almost divorced. Are you divorced? You say, I'm almost divorced. What the hell is that? No, you either in or you're out. You understand? Because when a woman is almost divorced, you can almost go back. He can almost get some more cookie.
See?
You understand?
Always go back
give me
cookie.
that. You gotta finish one thing to start another one. And no man is going to take you seriously. Totally seriously, even if he feeling you like that, if he know you.
What's up, Damo?
You can wake up tomorrow and decide to go back for the kids. Finish it. Okay, I heard you can get a divorce for what, $50? They even take the access cards in it. Look, get the divorce first. Okay, don't be wasting no brother's time because he won't take you seriously. And the longer the divorce takes, the quicker his trust dissipates. Okay, there is no almost divorced. Are you almost gay? What? Almost gay? We'll talk about the lesbianism in a minute.
What in the world? Well, he just be all over the
What I
place.
find in a lot of sisters who practice that lifestyle, and I love all my sisters, like I love all my brothers, is
There you
many
go.
of them were severely hurt by black men. They were severely hurt in childhood. They were severely hurt as teenagers. They may have been raped on a date. They may have been sexually molested, and that leads to rejection of black men. And some decide that I don't want to take the chance of being hurt again. I'd rather spend my life with a woman. Are y'all with me? I don't know a single case of black homosexuality or lesbianism that I cannot trace to some sort of psychological experiences in childhood or teenage years, which is why we shouldn't beat up on them. Some brothers.
Umar, well, he's ridiculous.
I don't beat. I'm a therapist. I don't believe that. Just like they go into that, they can come back out. And I know people who've come back out. So you never reject them. And another reason why we can't reject our lesbian, homosexual, African brothers and sisters is because they have the highest suicide rate in our community. You hear that? You cracking jokes, talking about them. Next thing you know, you see their face on the front of the Daily News. They kill themselves because they so.
Yeah, but Umar, didn't you go at your daughter because she said that she liked girls or whatever? I mean, you called me gay. I mean, come on, man. What are you talking about? He's such a hypocrite.
Isolate. You know what we want to do? Because we want to run at them with the Bible. Oh, you sin, read the chapter Levitic. The Quran said any man You can't go that way. They are victims. Stop treating victims like they're the perpetrators, y'all.
Yeah, he sure do.
Compassion. That Southern hospitality. We so nasty with each other. We so bad now that if I speak to somebody on the street, they don't even speak back if they don't know you. You notice that? I said, how you doing, sister? Wait, do I know you? Damn.
Yeah, Seth, everything is negative. Everything's negative with this guy.
Know me to say hi, you evil, nasty, single ass thing. I'm playing.
What?
Now.
See that? The real Umar started stepping out.
Date rape. Date rape is a reality. And not only is date rape a reality, date rape happens at all ages. Did you hear that? Some sisters think I'm 40 now. I'm 40. Ain't no man. A 50-year-old man is still stronger than you. A 40-year-old man is still stronger than you. Please.
I feel so bad for these ladies. Such a shame.
Be careful. Date rape still happens. 28% of all women are raped by husbands and boyfriends. 35% of women are raped by acquaintances. 5% are raped by other relatives. And only 26% of rapes are reported. This is from the United States Department of Justice. This means what? If you get raped on a date, you knew the guy. You're not getting raped by strangers. Just like our daughters at home ain't being molested by strangers. They're being molested by big brother, big cousin, next door neighbor. Y'all got to watch that, especially with your girls, your boys as well, because when they get molested, that sets off a train of events. Are y'all with me? Are y'all with me? You got to protect them little girls. I know you go over your sister's house and y'all going to watch some soap operas and you want to send her upstairs with her cousin, but you don't know what her cousin's been exposed to. And if her cousin been molested, guess what? He might try to molest her, or she might try to molest her. Never leave your children alone unless you can say without a shadow of a doubt, I know what the kids have been exposed to that I'm leaving her with.
It's amazing. This guy, he's a deadbeat. He don't even take care of his own daughters. Been absent from the beginning.
I'm telling you, because they experiment on each other. Molestation is off the hook. Incest is off the hook too. Okay? Protect those babies, y'all. You can't.
The real talk, I think he's projecting here too. I'm just gonna say it. I think he's projecting here.
Can't leave them on everybody. You cannot do that. You got to stop doing it. You got some moms that just want to keep dropping them off, keep dropping them off. You cannot do that. Okay? If you can't leave them with a blood relative, okay, you got to be careful because people sick. People are sick out here.
Yeah, you sick.
31% of women are raped by strangers. First dates. First dates. And this is for my teenage sisters and my sisters in college for the first time. You know, they get to college, they get buck wild. Now they up in some guy dorm room. Okay, he don't want to give, she don't want to give them none, so they take it. And you know, in some states, you have to prove forced entry for him to be convicted.
This guy, he's so insensitive. We're gonna leave this right here. How do you speak on this topic like this, Umar? And just in front of the women, no. This guy, he's something else. Okay. Tomorrow, I want to come back to this tomorrow. This is for sisters only. For sisters only. Before we get up out of here, and thank you all so much for tuning on in. I appreciate it. Let me go ahead and close out this poll because we're up against the clock here. As of right now, we got 1,500 over 1,500 votes. Is Umar Johnson exploiting black women? 88% said yes, and 12% said no. Again, what we're going to do over the next couple of days is we're going to set the stage for Friday, where we plan on having Lene come back, and we're going to be going through all, well, not all, but the most important receipts that she has. I showed some of them today. And we'll be doing follow-up questions, and then she'll be sharing more information about her experience with Umar. Again, 1,500, over 1,500 votes. Is Umar Johnson exploiting black women? 88% said yes, 12% said no. Okay, we had 630 likes. Our goal is always 500, so we did fantastic. Thank you guys so much. You know, I want to do one last thing before we get up out of here. I'm going to go ahead and close this poll out now. Thanks to everyone who voted. Thanks to the mods for handling business. Thanks to everyone who sent in super chats. And if you sent in super stickers, thank you so much. Yeah. FDMG, family drugs make my mitts grow. Yeah. And it's true. Part of what's enabled Umar is FDMG and the money that it has brought to him. And this is what allows Umar to live this type of self-destructive lifestyle, but then also be predatory on black women, you know, because he's going around the world. You know, he's literally traveling around the world. If Umar didn't have the money to do that, then he would be more local, and he wouldn't be as many women wouldn't be as exposed to him. Okay, he still would be doing what he's doing because he's a sexual deviant, in my opinion. But he wouldn't have all this going on all around the world. I mean, I guarantee you there's probably at this point thousands of women that have dealt with Umar and have had horrible experiences dealing with him in hotel rooms, etc. I'm sure at the very least hundreds. Okay, I like to do to go back in time real quick. I want to go back to an old video, a live stream that we did on November 13th of 2021. And I want people to listen to what I said here. And thanks, big man, too. Good to see you. You know, one of my mottos is time always tells the truth. And this is another example of what I mean. So we're going to go back in time. Let me pull this up, do a screen share. So let's go 5 more minutes, guys. We'll do this real quick. Here we go. That's enough. Listen, I want to thank everyone, and I know. Let me know if you guys can hear the audio. And this is just like a couple of seconds. Let me just show you. This is just an example of Umar projecting. Listen to what he says here.
You need him with you to go shop. You need him with you to go to the doctors. You need him with you to go to the job interview. You're very nasty to other people. This is a man who ain't looking for a wife. He wants a fan. Very nasty to other people. This is a man who.
Check this out.
Ladies, don't marry this type of man. Narcissistic personality disorder. This is the male version of histrionic. Women tend to be diagnosed as histrionic, and men tend to be diagnosed as narcissistic. They both think they're what? God's gift to the world. Don't you marry one of these brothers. God's gift to the world. He expects you to treat him like he's a superstar. He requires.
Who is he talking about?
Excessive admiration, lacks empathy, and can be very nasty to other people.
Who is he talking about?
This is a man who ain't looking for a wife. He wants a fan. He wants a groupie. Do you feel me?
Who is he talking about?
You're not allowed to talk unless you're spoken to. This is the brother who looks you.
He's talking about himself. Yeah, I know. There he is. Okay.
square in the face and say, you should be happy I'm even dating your ass.
Ooh.
Black
And you
woman.
see how he says that? We're done. But you see how he says that? It's as if he's speaking.
Mm-hmm.
Did y'all catch that? Yeah, he's talking about himself. Yeah, he's projecting. Yeah. But did y'all catch that? That last statement, when I heard him say it, I said, that's how he talks to black women. Listen.
Square in the face and say, you should be happy I'm even dating your ass.
Wow.
He's just projecting. And see, I know this is how he talks to black women. I'm talking about in private. This is, publicly. Okay, he may slip up every once in a while, but that's how he is. And what he's really talking about, he's talking about himself. Isn't that deep? Okay, real quick, Illmatic says,
all right.
and there was one more from the past I want to pull up real quick. Let me do this real quick so I can get it off my list here. This is a woman that called in. No, let's do this tomorrow. Let me give you a preview of it. I'll do that now, but we'll go to the whole thing tomorrow. Here we go. Okay, let's take a quick break. Let's take a call. This is from Whole Southern Cooks. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
How you doing?
I'm doing good. Thank you for having me.
Oh, my pleasure.
Thank you for having me. Okay, so I just wanted to share a little quick story about my experience with Umar. Like many people, first of all, I want to tell you thank you for what you do, because
You're welcome.
I honestly feel like Umar is a bad epidemic. Like, he's taken a lot of money from a lot of people, and he's really making it hard for other Black entrepreneurs to have that respect, in my opinion, because he's had millions of dollars and he's done absolutely nothing but buy horrible condition buildings with it, like nothing else. In my opinion. And I think that even though we laugh and joke on your channel, you're really like an activist and you inspire people and educate people to stay away from his nonsense. I think it's so much bigger than what just CCC and everything. Like, you're really doing Lord's work, in my opinion. So I just want to say that. But okay, so long story short, I heard of Umar off and on throughout the years. And like a year ago, I so happened to catch one of his lives. And he said he needed, how he says, oh, my brothers and sisters, I'm looking for somebody to do this or that. So he said, I'm looking for somebody who can help create the menu for the cafeteria. And I was like, oh, okay, I remember. Bakery.
I remember that.
Like, okay.
Anyone else remember that? Could Chat hit the one? I remember he said that.
I was like, okay, this is something that I can do. This is something I can do. And I'm not rich by any means, but like, I'm willing to invest in something worth the cause if I can or whatever. So here I go thinking he, not knowing the other mess about him, thinking that, I'm about to be a part of something great. I link with him. He puts his number out there. So I, contact him. First thing this man says to me is, yeah, I take care of my mother. So I need somebody to teach me how to cook. And
time always tells the truth. We're gonna leave it right there. We're gonna come back tomorrow. We're gonna probably start with this. See what Lene was saying? Okay. Umar has a history of this. He wants to get these women to help him out with his mama. And Umar ain't gonna cook. You know what I think? I think he was trying to line her up to have her come to be the one to cook for his mama, because he ain't gonna cook. He can't do nothing by himself. He can't even shop by himself. I'm talking about with logic and reason, because I'm a logical shopper. When I go into Walmart, I know where everything is at. I have a plan on where I don't be going back to different aisles. I'm trying to save time. I got my budget, and I'm looking for, if there's a sale, I might get something. I know exactly, and my wife would tell you, I know exactly what I'm going to get, the order that I'm going to get in. That's how I am. I'm a weirdo. I ain't going up there wasting time and wasting no money. Umar don't even know how to shop. This is what I think. I think he was trying to line this sister up to do what he got Lene to do. That's what I think. See, we did this video. This was a couple of years ago. The one we were watching, we're going to watch the whole thing tomorrow. this was a couple of years ago, and then here we are in 2025. And you see what's happened? Umar talking about he won't cook. He won't teach. No, what he wanted was to get what, and she explains it later. We'll get into this tomorrow. This is crazy. This is so crazy. But you know, Tom always tells the truth. We'll come back to this video tomorrow. And shout out to Whole Southern Cooks. I haven't seen her in the chat room in a long time. Hope she's doing all right. Southern Cooks. But there was another lady that called in too, if memory serves me correctly, and she was saying how, and then we're gonna be done. She was saying how Umar was kept trying to have sex with her in her hotel room, but she didn't want to, but he was persistent. I thought that was during a live, but again, we've covered this over the years, and it's just at this point with Lene coming out, and she has all kinds of receipts. It just blows everything out of the water, and then it puts things in perspective. You know, like things that we were talking about years ago. Basically, what she's done, she's come in and she's confirmed it. I think her situation is a more extreme case for her, because she's actually was taking care of the mama and all that stuff. Like I said, though, Cook Quest Chat is undefeated. Thank you so much, Sweet Tea, for tuning on in. And 78 Vet, I appreciate. Yeah, this was before. Yeah, Lynette. Yeah. So it's probable that Umar he probably had other women he was trying to line up to come and take care of his mama. And he's something else. All right. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Thank you again for tuning on in. We'll be back tomorrow with another live stream. We had 652 likes, which is awesome. We had over 1,000 people during the live stream. I want to thank everyone again for tuning on. Thanks to the mods for handling business during this live stream as well. Thanks to everyone who sent in super chats. I appreciate it. If you send in super stickers, I hope I got to everyone. Did I forget anyone? I think I'm all caught up in there. I also have CashApp and PayPal links listed down below in the description of this video. I hope you guys will come back to tomorrow with another live stream. We'll be here. And as we always do.
Oh my gosh, so you're fancy, huh?
Yeah, Black community activist. Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
Well, good for you.
Thank you. Thank you.
See your eyes shine, she's my soul burning peace. In the winter light, so she's my sweet.
All right, I'm just shout out since we watched this again. Thank y'all for tuning on in. And hope you guys enjoyed the show. If you did, hit that like button. Laurie, thanks for being there. Domo. Ruben Rivera. Gracias. Thanks for tuning on in. Yeah, he's something else. Nature Center for meditation. Famous independent. E-loggers, hike, and travelers. Tuning on in the 185. Snow bunny. Yeah, I think so, Crystal. You was trying to line her up. What's up, Josh? Thanks for tuning on in. Appreciate it. Can be seen tonight to you. Yeah, real talk. 3 rings to rule them all. Yep. Yeah, he sure do. It's too late. It's too late. Thanks, Meg. Sugar Rush. Thanks for tuning on in, dear. I appreciate this. Good night, sweet tea. That's okay. Check out the archive, and then we'll be back tomorrow with another live stream. Mini marathon with Lynette. Everything works out. Good night, Malika. Fry guy, thank you for being here. Just me.
Crush.
Thanks, Derek. Fly guy. F7, thank you so much. Oh my God, what in the world? What's up, Uncle Joe? Appreciate you. Yeah, it is. Yeah. Thank you, Light One. Yeah, we'll be back tomorrow. Bring a friend. All right, Jerry, you got it. What's up, Jesus Christ? Yes, is in the building. All right. What up, Sharif? He that is all with the muscles. Carlos, that's okay. Check out the what you call it, the archive. Patrick's in the building. James, shout out to James. Paul the Steel, 78 Vet. Just me, just K. Did I get everybody? JC Morgan. Okay. All right. I hope you all enjoyed the show. Thank you guys again for tuning on in. We'll be back tomorrow with another live stream. I appreciate y'all's presence. Please enjoy the rest of the evening. Okay. I love y'all. Take care. Peace.